made some big news today, talking about the Kennedy Shanahan ticket. Does it stay in the race, Nicole? What are your thoughts on that?
It's Bobby's decision. I came into this supporting him wholeheartedly to win this election. And I have to say, there's only one party that has obstructed a fair election for us. And unfortunately, it was the Democratic Party. They've done everything they can, including creating PACs to prevent us from being able to have ballot access.
Yeah, it's interesting because you were saying that you could stay in and run the risk of Kamala Harris win, or you could walk and you could join forces with Donald Trump. When you say join forces, Nicole, what do you mean specifically?
Well, this idea of a unity party, an idea of us coming around these principles of fighting for liberty in this country, fighting for our children's health. We have the worst chronic health crisis in the world right now. Over 50% of children are diagnosed with some chronic disease. This is unconscionable. And we are willing to work with anyone who is sincere in their endeavor to fix and address this issue.
Do you believe the Trump campaign and Trump himself is sincere? Do you see a home? You talk about this as being Bobby's decision. Do you see a home for RFK Jr. in the Trump administration, Health and Human Services, something to that extent?
I would fully support it. I would fully support a strong partnership dedicated to this issue. A lot of people comment that in his first term, he didn't accomplish many of the things that mothers really were hoping he would do. Made some big mistakes around the pandemic. However, I think that he is sincere.
Yeah,
I do.
I think it's interesting because the National Review today kind of agrees with you. It's saying that if you, in fact, join the Trump I'm not saying the Trump campaign, if you pulled out of the race, that it would be more beneficial to the Trump campaign than the Harris campaign. Is that a fair assessment?
I think that it's a tight race right now. I wish that we had a chance to debate, that we had fair representation in the polls. I wish we had a chance to be on stage, because had we likely would have won this election. 71% of Americans want a strong third-party option, and we delivered it in terms of ballot access. But they're suing us. The DNC aligned PACs are suing us to get us off the ballots right now. These are frivolous lawsuits. We've had some of the best people involved in our ballot petitions, some of the most precise, signature packages ever submitted to any of the Secretary of States. We've overcome so much to get to this point. So to even be contemplating this is tough. It's a really hard decision, and we don't come to this moment lightly. We come to this moment because in every single decision we make, first and foremost, we want to make sure that we are representing the best interest of health and wellness of young people, children, and future generations.
Nicole Shanahan.
All right. They are doing everything they can to get RFK out of this race. Everything. I mean, every single state he's battling to get put on the ballot as an independent, everything all the way down the line. It's going to be interesting to see what direction this goes. And the thing is if Kennedy is added to Trump's ticket, I have a feeling that that there is absolutely no stopping our side. Yeah. All right. This is going to have to be a short one. I have only about 2 hours of fuel left, and then I am out. I have not been able to get anybody out here to get a fuel run done for me. So I'm just, I'm going to have to cut it short. I've got to have enough power to be able to keep the baby's milk cold and to grind up their food. And they have to have priority. So, all right, let's go ahead and get through what I got for you. Johnny Maga says the Democrats kept saying last night, we don't want to go back. Well, what do you mean by you don't want to go back?
Watching night one of the DNC was like watching an alternative reality. There was no mention of the migrant crime epidemic that has been allowed to transpire because of Kamala Harris's job as border czar, her open border policy. There was no mention of the record high inflation crisis caused by the Harris-Biden administration's economic policies. It's almost like the Democrats want the American people to forget that Kamala Harris has been vice president over the past 4 years and is wholly responsible for the economic, immigration, and foreign policy crises that we face in this great country. And, you know, the Democrats kept saying last night, we don't want to go back. Go back to what? 1.4% inflation, $1.50 gasoline, peace in the Middle East, the most secure border in history. Those are the facts of the Donald Trump administration, and millions of Americans do want to go back to those times. Watching night one of the DNC was like watching an alternative reality. There was no mention of the migrant.
Sorry about that. I missed that one. All right, moving on. Here we go. This is Michael O'Keefe. If you don't think it is strange that there are massive migrant plantation sites all over Ireland, which are guarded by foreigners, you're the problem. This is surreal. Here we go.
All right, man. You guys, bro. The gate was open. The gate was open, though. It's not open to the public. We're just seeing people. I'm just seeing people walking in. Visitor, yeah. I can't go back up. Back up. Father, Gardy. It was open. The gate was open and we seen people walking in and out. I thought we were alone. You don't want people walking in and out. Yeah, some guys trying to enter the property by force. By force? It's no video, you mad cunt. You're up like a lawyers. You have it on. You have it. I have it here.
Yeah. And they'll probably get arrested for breaking and entering when the gate was wide open. Yep. Good thing they got it on film. The Red Rooms in Thailand. Here we go.
So this is a thing, right, in Thailand where different people will buy a spot in a red room with crypto so they can't be traced. A red room in Thailand is a room where a child is murdered every 3 weeks and they are sacrificed. And the person that pays with the crypto gets to choose how that kid is murdered. And the other person gets to do things to them. Now that is trafficking. That is murder trafficking. So this.
Yeah. Red Rooms in Thailand. Yeah. But hey, let's make a trip. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me say this. My mind was not made up before, but it is definitely made up now. And I will definitely be voting for Donald Trump because the weaponization of the legal system, it is so blatant, and this corruption cannot stand. Whether I like Donald Trump or not, which I don't, I feel that it is essential that I vote for him because I must stand against the lawfare that was put on display by the Democratic Party, Alvin Bragg, all of these folks. And it's a shame because I'm a New Yorker. I live here in New York. And as a black man who lives in the United States and in New York, I know what it's like to have the legal system used against you, specifically targeting you. So, I mean, bro, at the end of the day, to expect us to just sit back and watch this happen and just ride with it like it's okay, like we're stupid and we don't see what's going on, that's crazy. Because if you can do something like this to a former president of the United States, just imagine, people, imagine what they can do to us. I'm sorry, but I'm all in. Trump 2024.
Yeah. There's a lot of people going all in. Here's a little Trump from yesterday.
Robotics and artificial intelligence and hypersonics. Do you know hypersonics? These are missiles that go 7 times faster than a fast ordinary missile. 7 times faster. So fast that for the most part, you can't shut them down and you can't shoot them down. They're going at levels of speed that nobody thought was possible. Do you know, that was our technology that was stolen by Russia. And Russia has them, and I started them very quickly. But somebody gave Russia, years ago, before me, all of our plans and specs for hypersonic missiles, and they built them, and we didn't. He said Bill Clinton. It could be. It might have been, in all fairness, might have been a little after Bill Clinton. I used to like Bill Clinton. Can you believe it? It could have been Barack Hussein Obama, perhaps. We should ask him. Now, he was very nasty last night. I try and be nice to people, you know, but it's a little tough when they get personal. Please, again, remember, please, sir, don't get personal. Talk about policy. Let me ask.
Yeah. Obama's a piece of crap. Here's another piece of yesterday's speech.
1,000 service members from our military for refusing their COVID vaccine mandate. They refused to do it. We didn't want a mandate. The mandate, you just can't do that. I will rehire every patriot who was fired from the military with an apology and with back pay. They will get their back pay and an apology from our government. 1,000 service members from our military for
10,000 service members. Yep. All right. Here's a little shipwreck for you.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be addressing the nation this Friday in Phoenix, Arizona. Same Phoenix, Arizona that Donald Trump and his campaign are going to be in this Friday. They're going to talk about their pathway forward, which if you've been paying attention, you've been listening, his VP or his running mate has come out on a podcast where she stated that they didn't think there was a path forward, and she kind of laid the options out on the table. And the option that a lot of people are leaning towards is that they are going to drop out of the campaign and they are going to endorse Donald Trump.
Forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Walt's presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump.
You'll remember a while back, there was a leaked phone call between Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., where Trump was trying to get Jr. to endorse him and to support him in his presidential campaign. And in return, Jr. would get a spot on Trump's cabinet as somebody who would oversee all of the medical decisions that are being made by big companies. Someday somebody will handle this censorship, but today is not the day. Anywho's is going to be Friday, August 23rd at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, and arrive by 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Be in front of the press, and everybody is anticipating him and Shannon Lannon to drop out and endorse Trump and his campaign. I am a strong believer that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. should be a very big part of what Big Pharma does going forward with the federal government, possibly stopping the Big Pharma lobbying that happens on the congressional floor, or starting the stopping of it. And about your health, and we all know it. We all know it. It's about money and it's about power, and we all know it's not about your health. And we need somebody in there who is going to call that out, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been doing forever. Let me know your thoughts, because this would be interesting.
Yep. I think it's coming. Thank you, Shipwreck. All right, here we go.
Hey, y'all, check me out, bro. I hate to go political, but I don't really hate it because it comes around every 4 years. And this is the year. This is the time. And I just want to tell y'all this. I'm in Chicago right now. The Democratic National Convention is going on at the United Center right now. You know, so like this weekend is August 20th. The Democratic National Convention going on. Biden here, Obama here, Michelle here. You know what I'm saying? All respect to Obama. I love you, Obama. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I just want to let people know, don't ride with the Democrats. I ain't gonna speak for y'all. Y'all do what y'all want to do, but I am not riding with the Democrats. I know you. I've been riding with y'all for all my life since I've been knowing about politics. And it took me as an adult to learn that y'all are cutthroat, y'all are snakes, y'all are backdoor artists, y'all give no fucks about anybody that you say you give a fuck about. I promise you that. They don't. I'm in the cannabis industry. I came to Chicago in 2019. J.B. Pritzker, he's the governor of Illinois, if y'all don't know. He's a Democratic governor. When he legalized cannabis, he stood on that shit as a platform for reparations. He talked about the war on drugs. He talked about disenfranchised communities. He talked all of that shit. Soon as cannabis got legal, he sold out to the corporations. He gave all the licenses to the MSOs. If y'all don't know what MSO is, it's multi-state operators from out of state, not even from here. He sold all the licenses to them. He didn't give a fuck about the community like he said he do.
Same thing here in Oregon.
That's the same. That's their strategy. They play with your emotions. They pull on strings. They act like they care. They don't. They doing that shit to cutthroat you and stab you in the back. And that's the worst kind of cutthroat you can get. You know what I'm saying? I promise you that, y'all. Like, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. It's the oldest trick in the book. And it's getting super old because people catching on. People catching on, bro. It's like, y'all don't care. Kamala, what the fuck you gonna do? You ain't never did nothing but oppress niggas. What you gonna do when you in office? You ain't never did nothing but lie people. What you gonna do? You don't know how to make money. You don't know how to stimulate money. You've been the vice president for 4 years and everybody broke. Everybody broke. I ain't never seen America this broke. If you ride with them, you tripping. You tripping and you crazy. I promise you that. And y'all might think I'm tripping and I'm crazy, but check this shit out. I ain't even gonna go on no whole rant like I want to go on, but bro, do not vote Democrat. Please don't. Please do not do that. That would be the worst mistake that you ever made. If you vote Democrat, you nailing your own nail in your own coffin. You nailing a nail in your own coffin. Do not vote Democrat. Do not do that shit. I promise you. It's going to be the worst mistake you ever made in your life. They're going to flood the border with immigrants. They're going to raise the gas prices. They're going to raise electricity. My mama, one old lady that's 80 years old, her electric bill be close to $300 a month. I never seen that ever in my life. I'm almost 40. Her electric bill is almost $300 a month. She an 80-year-old lady. And they cut down her food stamp. They cutting all her benefits. Like, man, no. Bro, please, I'm begging y'all, please do not do that shit. They can, the first black woman president, they gonna pull on your little emotional heartstrings forever. That shit is a finesse. I can teach finesse. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you that shit is a finesse. That shit is a finesse. And y'all black people constantly falling for it. Constantly falling for it. Don't keep falling for it. Like, I appreciate everybody who woke up and see what's going on. Like, I see y'all. Yeah, there's a lot of people like me that's woke up and that see what's going on, bro. No, we not going for that shit. No, definitely not. Y'all ain't did nothing but hurt. Y'all ain't did nothing but send all the money overseas. Y'all ain't did nothing but flood the border with immigrants. Y'all ain't did nothing but push gay rights, which is irrelevant. Y'all ain't did nothing but nonsense the whole time you've been in there. So why would people want to vote for you and get 4 more years of nonsense? Real shit. Just think about that. That's all I got to say, bro. Like, I want y'all to, like, just, that's it.
Yeah. People are seeing it. All right. Here we go. More Donald Trump.
Seminar, then you can do it somewhere else, but you're not going to do it in the Army, Navy.
What the heck is going on? I'm having problems today. Here we go.
If you want to have a sex change or a social justice seminar, then you can do it somewhere else, but you're not going to do it in the Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, Space Force, or the United States Marines. Sorry. You're not going to do it there. The military brass that led these absurd and insulting initiatives will likewise be removed, and they will no longer be in command. They're going to be gone so fast. If you want to have a sex change or a social justice seminar, then you can do it somewhere else, but you're not going to do it in the Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, Space Force, or the United States Marines. Sorry. You're not going to do it there. The military brass that led these absurd and insulting initiatives will likewise be removed, and they will no longer be in command. They're going to be gone so fast. If you want to have a sex change or a social...
Yeah. He's not going to do it. He's not going to have it. You can't blame him. All right. Here we go.
All right. Well, we heard him ask doctor, trying to clarify what the crowd was asking for, and it appears that call was answered. And the former president has wandered over there with Secret Service in tow, John, to check out what's going on.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times in these outdoor events, because people have been standing around for a long time, it's 75 degrees right now in Asheboro, but it's a sunny day. The president just wanted to check to make sure that that person's okay.
All right. Looks like he'll continue now.
Thank you very much. You know, they come 2 days, 3 days early, and it's a lot of stress. We lose them. The only ones we don't lose are front row Joes. I don't know what they have going.
All right. Yep. All right. Our reporting from Obama's neighborhood made CNN. Here we go.
A lot of people.
But Trump is winning over some black men,
Yes, he is.
Latino men, and that is a real problem for Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris has got a big problem, right? I watched a Benny Johnson video out here in the south side of Chicago, walking around a strip mall with a microphone saying, who you vote for, going after African-American men. Donald Trump. This is Barack Obama's hometown. Donald Trump in the city of Philadelphia. Donald Trump has a great deal of support from African-American men. You know, one of the things that I note is lacking from a lot of this program as well, a lot of outreach to the Hispanic community. I mean, you know, I don't see a lot of Hispanics on the stage, right? And so they got a lot of work to do. There's going to be a lot of work to do in the Hispanic community. You know, people, the folks who are in the middle class feel a pinch on the economy, on immigration in their communities. Yep. It's going to be a real race. Look, nobody thinks it's going to be easy. No. It's going to be down to a few votes in all these states and all these counties, and that's why it's important.
She's got work to do. She's speaking for a lot of people.
But Trump is winning over.
All licenses are a fraud. Brace yourself. Let's go. Book reference.
And you guys didn't hear a dang word I just said. Yeah. All right. Let me back that up. All right. QFS or GESARA QFS will get rid of all this bullshit. This is why it's taking so long. We have been living not only in a matrix, but in an illegal one at that. Digital soldiers move this forward. Let's take a listen.
All licenses are a fraud. Brace yourself. Let's go. Book reference. The term license is defined in law as, quote, a permit to do something illegal. What? Hold up. Run that back. The term license is defined in law as a permit to do something illegal. Somebody might be like, well, that's your opinion. See Black's Law's Dictionary, 6th or 7th edition. Receipts, book reference, license, certificate or the document itself, which gives permission. Are you listening? Therefore, all licenses are permits to violate the only real law. Inalienable rights are the rights bestowed by God at birth upon all living men. All other laws are subordinate to God's law. All other laws are subordinate to God's law. Bing bong. The controlling de facto government wants us to rely on their laws, so they demand that we apply for a license. You see the trick? For example, a driver's license, a marriage license, a gun license, etc. Anything that they say requires a license. That's pretty much everything. Somebody might ask, well, how do they get away with it then? They succeed in this intimidation through the corporate courts and police enforcement by so-called officers who have been brainwashed and reinforced by mandatory training programs. Wow. Book reference. States cannot license rights. A state may not impose a charge for the enjoyment of a right granted by the federal constitution. Did you hear that? No state may convert any secure liberty into a privilege and issue a license and a fee for it. Maduk versus Penn. If the state does convert your rights into a privilege and issues a license and a fee for it, you can ignore the license and a fee and engage the right with impunity. Shuttlesworth versus Birmingham. Receipts. Remember earlier how I mentioned a marriage license? Check this out. Those who apply for and marry pursuant to a marriage license have added a third party to their marriage contract. The third party is the master. By and through his agent, the corporate state. What? The marriage license gives the state the legal right to decide the fate of the husband, wife, and possessions they procure during their marriage. Keep in mind, licenses are legal, not lawful. Should the marriage fail, their divorce must now be decided by and through the state court by a corporate judge. And the judge's first and foremost concern is the interest of the state. You didn't need a license, but since you went and got one, the corporate state became your master and you the slave.
Made a lot of sense, didn't he? Yeah, made a lot of sense. All right, moving on.
I posted a video on my own social media about Trump. Literally walked into my office during the negotiations and said, my board of directors is losing their patience with you or something like that. I said, these arrogant motherfuckers. There was a big number on the table and I said, get back on the plane, fly back where you're from. We roll that big deal right up in a little ball and shove it right up your board of directors' asses. Fuck you, I don't want your money. He said, but Dana, there's X amount of money on the table right now. I was like, go fuck yourself.
And?
I don't know what they did with the money, but I didn't take it. I posted a video on...
Yeah. It's CEO of Ultimate Fighting Championship Dana White turned down $2,500,000 deal for Donald Trump. Dana White posted a video about Donald Trump on his social media. The company doing the deal said their board of directors was getting tired of him supporting Trump, and Dana said, "Fuck you, I don't want your money." Yeah. Listen, guys, listen. You're cute, and you're cuddly, okay? But you don't get to suck up all my time. All right, here we go.
Talked about having a stronger military, not a woke military. He talked about basically being, dealing from strength as the United States defense posture. And then he said something I haven't heard him say before, which is that he would fire. He said Biden didn't fire anyone after the Afghanistan disaster. And he said, here's what he would do. Watch.
We'll ask for the resignations of every single senior military official who touched the Afghanistan disaster. I want their resignations immediately.
All right, Tim Ryan, let me go to you first on that. Is that a good move? Is that appropriate? I think that's going to make some waves with people.
Yeah, I don't know who's all there, who's still there from what happened there. That was obviously
nobody was fired by the Biden administration.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And but I think elections are about the future. He consistently is talking about the past. Biden is not running. He still wants to talk about Joe Biden. I think it's a huge mistake. And I think, just watching that, which I don't watch Trump.
But it's a Biden-Harris administration that handled the Afghanistan withdrawal, correct?
It is. But it's like blaming Mike Pence for something that Trump did. It's just not going to stick. They can try it, but this is going to be about change. This is going to be about the future.
That's something she could commit to doing right now. She could say, as soon as I'm in office, every general who touched that disaster is gone. She could say that.
She could, and she may. Who knows? I don't know. He brings this up now. Maybe she'll respond to it. But I think this is going to be about much bigger trends that are happening in the country. We saw, and I've been on this show and others, The double haters who didn't want Biden, didn't want Trump, those folks are breaking for Kamala Harris. They're going to continue to break for her. People are tired of the toxic politics. This has been going on since the Vietnam War. They're ready for a new thing, and Kamala Harris enters the stage. And I think it's going to be very, very difficult for him to regain traction.
Yeah, I mean, it is a powerful thing to see someone young and energetic. That's not what we've seen on the Democrat side, and it is showing in these polls, Kellyanne.
She is definitely younger than Biden. First of all, let me just say
that's not hard to do.
Let me just say that elections are, Congressman, about the future, not the past. And I won't say too much about J.D. Vance beating you by 6 points, including 17 among women, plus 29 among white men, got 41% of Hispanics. And I think the people of Ohio thought that that would be the future. But let me just say, for whom the future does not exist, 13 U.S. service members who lost their lives in Afghanistan in a chaotic, irrational, impulsive pullout that many of those generals were against. Kamala Harris has affirmed for us that she was in the room. She's the last person Joe Biden speaks to before he makes decisions like Afghanistan. So she is going to eat and own this. Look, those service members are brave men and women in the military. This is a possible occupational hazard. They know they may lose their lives. Their families know that. They're white knuckled every day. But the way they did it, Martha, they can have celebrities here and past presidents and failed presidential candidates. I mean, nothing screams the future quite like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton on night one. My goodness, they can have those people here at the Republican National Convention. We had the Gold Star families. We had the loved ones of those 13 service members in Afghanistan. No one is going to forget what happened. And Joe Biden looking at his watch and Kamala Harris not even being there to receive those fallen members. I like what the president said, though, overall about rebuilding the military. This is important. Military might, not meekness, not wokeness, not weakness, and military pay. By the way, are we not in the middle of America? Tim Ryan and I hear Martha over there. We listen to John Legend practicing Prince and Donald Trump talking about Afghanistan and liquid national.
We are definitely in America.
Kellyanne Conway. Yeah.
Some breaking news in the CNN right now. The job growth has been far weaker in the U.S. than originally reported. That is according to new data just coming in this morning. Let's get right to CNN's Matt Egan. What's the headline, Matt?
Jim, 818,000 fewer jobs were added during the period between April 2023 and March of this year. We were bracing for these revisions to come out and show that job growth was weaker, and that is what we got. This is probably on the high end of the expectations. Some of the forecasters had been saying probably around a few 100,000 jobs. Goldman Sachs had said maybe up to 1 million. So this is on the higher end. We're seeing some of the biggest revisions downward in sectors that include manufacturing, leisure and hospitality, professional and business services. Of course, some sectors actually added more jobs than were previously known. Private education, health services, transportation and warehousing. We look at the market, not a massive reaction from the market. I think that's in part because this is somewhat backwards looking data. What investors really care about is what happens next. And these numbers out today, they do support the idea that the jobs market has been weaker than we previously thought and that it has been slowing down. That makes sense because we know the Fed has been working hard to slow the economy down as it tries to fight inflation. So I do think that the fact that the economy had more than 800,000 fewer jobs than previously known supports the idea that the Fed is going to start cutting interest rates next month. The question still remains whether or not it's a 1/4 point or a larger interest rate cut. But either way, it's going to lower mortgage rates, credit card rates, and car loan rates. Jim?
Yeah, all of these data points are very important, and you have to think it's all being taken into consideration for that critical decision that's coming from the Fed. Matt Egan, thank you very much. Thanks. Really appreciate it.
Yep. Here we go.
Tell us about what you are asking for.
Wait a second. I have another one of those. I think I have it. Well, first let me go here.
When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man.
You hearing this, Texas?
I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years.
I want to know how much this motherfucker's getting
She's gone
paid.
down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out. I may be paraphrasing a bit. We protect them. Now, the border sheriffs that I know, right, and we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. We enforce the law. We show compassion. And we fight like hell to protect our border. Because as we've always known in Texas, cuando luchamos, ganamos. When we fight, we win.
Yeah. This lying sack of shit. That's a Texas sheriff for you right there. Javier Salazar. And he's the Bexar County Sheriff. I think some people need to be voting because it seems kind of funny that this is.
Tell us about what you are asking for. What are your needs?
Well, right now, thank you for having me. First off, right now, what I'm asking for is for the president or a member of his administration that can make decisions to come down and talk to not just me, but at least 12 other Texas sheriffs from major counties in the state of Texas that are dealing with this issue firsthand. So I'd like to see somebody from Washington come down here, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the issue at hand, and then talk to us, a bipartisan group of Texas sheriffs that are really taking a common sense approach because we have to.
Tell us about what you are asking for.
Yeah.
What are
I'm not going to pray for him. I'm not going to pray for him. There's a certain point that these people have gone so far to destroy what God allowed to be built, and are working fervently to destroy it. Yeah. Fuck you, Javier Salazar. Take that badge off. You just totally turned my entire opinion of Texas sheriffs to 100% shit. That's what you did. Yep. Anybody who supports a guy like this needs to have their fucking head examined. Yeah. All right. Here we go. More shipwreck.
Chris Cuomo got me fucked up.
People talk about uniparty. We are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there?
I know he left CNN and now he's like a new person and all red pilled and stuff, but I can't let go of the way he acted during the whole COVID hype. He's not wrong. He talks about how the suites are $500K a piece and those people are just looking down on people and they're faceless people. You don't know who's sitting up in those suites. But I guarantee you that one of those people is probably fucking Oprah. Oprah, you invited Oprah to the DNC after everything that happened with Hawaii, after everything that happened with John of God, after everything that happened with Harvey Weinstein. You invited Oprah. She did a whole speech on how we're going to elect Kamala Harris and we're going to push for Kamala Harris and it's going to be great and I endorse Kamala Harris. I guess she's really changed her tune over the years. Y'all remember this?
Presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
He even wrote Donald Trump a letter saying, it's too bad we're not running for office. What a team. You like some young Bill Clinton also showed up at the DNC looking different, about as different as his wife looked when she got up to speak. To a point in this game where it's so hard to believe anything because everybody looks so different. There's like lines and there's like you look different. It's probably fine. I remember when this picture was floating around on the internet. It's probably fake. It's probably fine. I don't know. She went on to talk about rabbit holes.
We can't let up. We can't get driven down crazy conspiracy rabbit hole.
Well, if you feel so strongly that you got to stand up and speak out and not being driven down crazy rabbit holes, then maybe you should turn your comments on. Turn your comments on Hillary Clinton. Turn your comments on. Remember to John Podesta, tell him to do the same. On a lighter note, Matt Walsh showed up in costume, walking around. I think he's doing it for one of his movies. Actually showed up in the background on CNN. People you want to drag out here to talk about the women's rights movement, women's reproductive rights. You chose Bill Clinton, Oprah Winfrey, as if they weren't the absolute key metric to the detriment of women's rights and women's rights to choose and, you know, to not be groped, trafficked, or after it all. They had like a Hotties for Harris after party where they were handing out like STI medications, and they were you can't make this shit up. I can't make this shit up. This is literally what conspiracy theorists were saying that Hollywood does way back in the 2020, 2016 and on. I mean, this is literally what we told you they were doing. Like they were having these parties and taking pictures and videos of it. I mean, and then they were just doing it at the DNC convention with their food truck of abortions out front. I'd stand where you stand, but you have to admit that this is some ridiculous ass shit. November can't come soon enough. Just whatever's going to come is going to come. And we just have to do our best to be ready for it. You're fucking weird. You're weird. That's weird. That's weird. And I am not a prudy person, but that's weird. Time and a place for that kind of stuff. And the DNC convention, the people that are holding your livelihoods in the palms of their hands currently, because Kamala Harris is still in power, it's just weird. You can. It's weird. Just burn it all down. I don't know.
Oh. Yeah. All right. Democrats cannot name any policies of Kamala's that make them want to vote for her.
Be up for a quick interview?
Yes. Yes.
What's your favorite policy of Kamala's?
That's a hard one.
What's your favorite policy of Kamala's?
Her being president.
That's your favorite policy position?
Oh, yeah.
How so?
Because it covers everything that she defends.
I'm really excited for her to restore reproductive rights across America.
How do you think she'll go about doing that?
I don't know. What a fun question. I don't know. I'm picking and choosing. I mean, I really like most of them.
So you have to look at it broadly, right? It's about what she stands for right now.
What's your favorite of Kamala's policies?
I'm trying to think. Well, actually, more of like what Walsh comes in.
All of her policies, everything from I'm non-binary, and so all of the policies for basic human rights to have our own bodies and do with them as we please,
Her willingness to move forward on affordable health care.
How do you think she'll do that as president?
I think she'll work to motivate the legislature to vote in favor of it.
As her as a person, just tops out any policy. I really admire her.
Great. Thank you both so much.
Wow. Yeah, nobody actually could state a policy. Yeah. Yep. Benny John.
Oh man, guys, you've just got to love it. The hypocrisy here in Chicago. This is the Chicago Hyatt, where the elites for the DNC convention are staying. Obviously, we've covered how the DNC built a Great Wall around their convention, but did you know that the DNC also built a Great Wall around their hotel? Isn't that something remarkable? They've got armed security guards, gates, and a massive wall. Can't get into the hotel. Also, Hyatt happens to be the hotel brand that the governor, Pritzker of Illinois, owns. But this we didn't know. We've got a massive barricade up. If you know Chicago, of course, you know exactly where we are. And Democrats just keep building walls. It's incredible. It's amazing. There's so many. Nothing like the RNC, man. This is Wall City here. As long as you're a Democrat elite, you get to be protected by a wall.
Yeah. Funny how that works, right? Yep. Funny how that works. All right.
Biden administration has been lying to you about how many jobs they created.
Look, liberals, this is from your fucking Bible. New data shows U.S. job growth has been far weaker than initially reported. And yes, TikTok, I'm charging, but they just admitted that the Biden administration was lying about how many jobs they created over the last year. They had to revise that number down by nearly 1 million. Oh, and just so you don't have to listen to me tell you, here's CNN.
Jim, 818,000 fewer jobs were added during the period between April 2023 and March of this year.
Oh, and add a little insult to injury. The jobs report comes out every month. Out of the last 12 jobs reports, 11 of them have had to be revised down. You're unaware what revised down means? It means they fucking lied. They lied 11 out of 12 times over the last year. They lied about the jobs numbers.
Well, hey, we're going to believe
every
because of
month
that
but
one time.
And then on top of those lies, on top of those numbers that were already revised down, now they had to revise it down another 818,000. They lied about the original number. They lied about the number every month for 11 out of 12 months. And then on top of that, they lied about 1 million more. I love these Kamalanomics.
Yeah. Funny how that works, right? Yep. So Trump doesn't want intelligence briefings.
Nominees traditionally get an intelligence services briefing when they become the nominee. Are you getting those briefings now? There was some controversy about that.
Well, I could if I wanted them, but I don't want them because, number one, I know what's happening. They come in, they give you a briefing, and then 2 days later they leak it, and then they say you leaked it. So the only way to solve that problem is not to take it. I don't want it.
Yep. You got that right. Let me play that one more time.
Nominees traditionally get an intelligence services briefing when they become the nominee. Are you getting those briefings now? There was some controversy about that.
Well, I could if I wanted them, but I don't want them because, number one, I know what's happening. They come in, they give you a briefing, and then 2 days later they leak it, and then they say you leaked it. So the only way to solve that problem is not to take it. I don't want it.
Yep. There you go. I'm telling you, he knows more and is more prepared for than anything else. Yeah. So I have a couple of different videos of this guy. Nick Sortor put this up. This Army veteran is, give me a second here. Okay. All right. I'll check it out in a minute, Monty. I got another one from, yeah. It's actually, instead of posting it to my X, it's actually better if you just DM me on X and send it in there like this guy does. He's special. Let's see. Let's go here and open it up in a new tab, and then I'll get back to what I was doing because it's more important to, all right. Here we go. Authorities manhunt in Arizona search for man who allegedly threatened to assassinate Trump at his border visit today. So for immediate release, August 22nd, 2024, wanted subject, suspicious activity. The Cochise County Sheriff's Office is searching for a Benson resident who is wanted on several outstanding warrants. Ronald Lee Searwood, white male, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, white glasses or white and green glasses, 66 years of age, last known address, Benson. The subject has outstanding warrants from the state of Wisconsin for DUI, failure to appear for DUI, and for Graham County, Arizona for hit and run and felony failure to register as a sex offender. The Cochise County Sheriff's Office also has an absconder hold for this subject for failing to register as a sex offender. Public safety consideration. Searwood is being sought as an investigative lead for threats to kill a presidential candidate. If anyone has information on whereabouts of this subject, call your local law enforcement agency or 911. And there he is. That's the guy. Yeah. So more shenanigans playing out. Yeah. All right, back to my role. Okay, so this Army vet, I would play this one, but there's a guy talking on a loudspeaker over the top of him, and it doesn't do justice for what he's trying to say or anything. Now this Army veteran is being harassed by protesters at Union Park in Chicago simply for flying an American flag and saying America first. These people aren't just anti-Israel, they're anti-American. I have another video of him where somebody actually yeah, Monty, I think I probably need to add you to, hang on. Let me see. Is there a way that I can what's your name on X, Monty? What's your name on X? The full, is it the full Monty? I'm going to get these out of the way so I can get back to what I'm doing here. So actually, let me look here and see if it comes up in notifications. You don't know what your name is? Monty McCoy. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, here we go. Okay. Close. Wow, just wow. Look at the faces of CNN panel as a huge truth bomb is dropped. Yeah, I actually have this video in my lineup already.
Hurting.
Yeah.
Democrats have mostly controlled
it won't let me go back to the beginning.
This country. Trump had it for 4. The Obamas and Biden had it for the rest of the time. And somehow it's still all Trump's fault. And somehow she hasn't been at the center of it. So to me, that's still the glaring hole in this campaign that hasn't yet been solved at the convention. How do you explain all of the problems that will be solved by the person who is currently in there for the last 3.5 years, who is supposed to already be working on solving it?
Yeah. I think I actually played that yesterday. I think that's where that was. But I'm adding you to my thing now, so you should be able to DM me from now on. Okay, back to it. Where was I? Okay, so the DNC just spent 3 days fear-mongering about Donald Trump and Project 2025. CNN just destroyed their hoax. Here you go.
Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware about Project 2025 and former President Trump.
He has, with his friends, said the quiet parts out loud, but not only said them out loud, he wrote a book about it. What's it called? Project 2025.
That is false. Trump did not write Project 2025. The project's big policy document published by the Heritage Foundation think tank lists dozens of people as authors, editors, contributors. Donald Trump is not among them. Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt.
Yeah. So CNN just outed her for lying. Yeah. All right. Here we go. The Secretary of Commerce says she's not familiar with the Bureau of Labor. Oh, my God.
When you hear that, do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
When you hear that, do you potentially think that this...
Yeah. Lady needs to get out. Yeah. Fact-checking Michelle Obama's lies. Here we go.
Taking away our freedom to control our bodies, the freedom to become a mother through IVF like I did.
We want to make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. Like the overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republicans, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans, I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious baby.
Yeah.
Taking away our
Big
freedom.
Mike. It's not your fault that you can't have babies. It's not. It's your mom and dad's for having a boy. Oops. Did I just say that out loud? Did I just out Big Mike? Oh, my Lord. I'm so sorry. Yeah. All right. Must watch. This guy was just praising Kamala Harris at the DNC last night. In June 30th of 2022, after 53 migrants were found dead in the back of a semi-truck, Javier Salazar wrote the Biden admin a letter. Listen to what he had to say about the administration. Yeah, here we go.
Found a semi-truck full of migrants in Texas. 53 people died after being found inside that trailer in San Antonio in what one federal agent called the worst human smuggling incident in U.S. history. We've now learned that 4 people have been arrested and charged.
Listen, I have nothing against trans. Okay, I really don't. It bothers me that Michelle Obama has a bigger penis than I have. Okay, it does. It bothers me. It bothers me. I mean, it's all right. Here we go.
In this case, the sheriff is now pleading with President Biden for assistance. He has written this in a letter. I'm angry, Mr. President. I'm angry that I could not stop this massive loss of life in my county. I'm angry that despite my best efforts to appeal to your administration, I have not received a response. And he also criticized Texas Governor Greg Abbott in his letter. Joining us now is the sheriff of Bexar County, Texas, Javier Salazar. What do you want the president to do? I mean, what could he do that would help you and your deputies on the ground?
Well, what I'd like the president to start with, and not that I'm trying to blame him for anything that's going on, but we haven't seen him down here. It's noticeable among Texas law enforcement. I'm seeing a loss of confidence in the federal administration, and which has been going on for a couple of years now. But you know, what I'd like to see is have the president himself or the vice president herself come down, get eyes on it, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the situation, and realize that it goes beyond just the border and what I've termed a campaign stunt. All these assets being poured onto the border, and these people are making it past that anyway, and ending up here in what I'm calling a hub location. And so what I'd like to see is the president and or his administration physically come down here and get eyes on the situation, and then hear what local law enforcement has to say about what we're dealing with on a daily basis.
Yeah, look, this is a moment, what has happened there, that we cannot ignore as a country. I mean, this loss of life is it is tremendous and it is horrific, Sheriff, and we appreciate you speaking with us this morning.
Why is no one discussing the economy here? Job numbers are dismal. Unemployment is up. Are we in a recession? Why is no one discussing the economy?
I did it again, didn't I? I was saying
found a semi-truck.
This guy sold out America.
Full of migrants,
right
and he
here,
also
right there,
that would help you.
Javier Salazar. Yeah. He 100% sold this country out. Sold it. He's a traitor. He should be removed from his position. You know, I'm sorry, but when law enforcement gets up and lies, they should be removed from their positions. No ability to get back into law enforcement anywhere worldwide ever again. It's that simple. Bought and paid for is right. Yep. All right. Can you answer any of his questions? I already get the general idea. Just wondering what your thoughts are. Here we go.
Why is no one discussing the economy here? Job numbers are dismal. Unemployment is up. Are we in a recession? Why is no one discussing the economy? You don't raise taxes on anyone in this kind of economy. And Feds will probably raise the interest rate 50 basis points. And boy, what matters now is the corporate tax rate. You do not implement a tax on corporations to give them a reason not to grow and not to build. Why is none of the speakers discussing her economy, her price fixing, $2 trillion giveaways that she wants to fuel in the economy? Do you know what that was doing to inflation, the economy, unemployment? Do you understand? Why? Why is it they talk about everything else except what matters most to everyday Americans? What affects them more than anything else in their wallet, in their pocketbook? Why is it not being discussed here? Why?
Because if they discussed it, then they would have to come up with a way to fix it, and they can't do that. All right, Script Keeper Elect says, I've been said this, and they called me a conspiracy theorist after I gave them the same numbers.
Oh, here we really go, the 5G towers now. They're not here to frequently control us. They're not here to manipulate anything in this world. They're here for a faster internet connection. That's it. Go on. Show us your proof.
Look up IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers.
Okay, so we're going to do this as he's going along. So he says, look up IEEE, okay? World's largest technical professionals, okay? We're going to go to their website. Here we go. Okay, now what we're going to do is get the next part.
Write down 802.
Okay, so 802, let's see, 802 dot 15.6. Search. Okay. And we've got it here. Okay. So, and then let's go ahead and listen to what he says.
0.15.6. You know what that number is? That's the network code. That's y'all code that they tap into. 802.154, 802.155, and 802.156. They adhere to you using smart dust, chemtrails. Any of y'all got cars? It's a clear day. You look at your windshield. You're like, what's all this stuff from a windshield? It won't come off. They adhere to you using smart dust and proceed to electrify the air molecules, conjuring a wireless sensor network. Networks of spatially dispersed and dedicated sensors are formed, and in a surprising twist, the towers aren't managing the networks. Your DNA is. Thanks to the enigmatic power of optogenetics. Look at the diagram.
Yep. So when you're out there in the rain, okay, let me ask this. How many of you have had animals that recently, I would say in the last 5 to 6 months, have just started really acting strangely after being out in the rain? Or after a day that those planes were flying by? Your dogs are just, dogs and cats are just acting weird. They're doing weird things that normally you never ever seen before. Anybody? And it's, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this link here and I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drop it into the YouTube. And I'm going to drop it into the Facebook. Give me a second to open up the Facebook side. Okay. And guys, read up on those. .4, .5, .6. So just take those numbers and do the differential on them and read the information that's there. And you begin to see, whoa, wait a minute here. There's something to this. Yeah, there's something to this. Let's see. Let's go here. And we'll drop it into here too. So I'll get you to the starting point, but you got to do the research to find more. Because that's important. But it's got the list of all of them. All of them are in here. You know, so you take away the 6, put a 5. Take away the 5, put a 4. And go through all of it. And see what comes up. See what comes up. Yeah. Let me add that to my bookmarks for done. Okay. All right. Now we can get back to this. All right. Here we go. Older millennial.
I keep hearing people say that this election is so important because if we elect the wrong person, we're going to end up with a banana republic. Oh, and by the way, does it get more Florida than a tiki hut next to a fucking casino at a gas station? I fucking love Florida. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. People are worried we're going to become a banana republic. I don't think anybody needs to worry about that because we already are a banana republic. We recognize that our media is completely and totally full of shit. Our government feeds us nothing but propaganda. They have no problem lying to our face, give us bullshit economic data, and then have to retract that 2 months later. But of course, the retraction never shows up in the media. Jobs reports are completely fabricated or at the very least inflated because they're filled with part-time jobs, government jobs, or jobs for illegal immigrants. No matter how good the jobs report looks, our elections are, how can I put this? You have politicians trying to use the Department of Justice to imprison their political opponents, attempted assassinations, completely inept Secret Service that not only failed in Butler, Pennsylvania, then 2 weeks later they found a Secret Service agent had snuck off while she was on duty so that she could breastfeed her child. All the while, the economy keeps getting worse. Inflation keeps going up. Chances of us being drawn into a foreign conflict keep rising. Chances of a global conflict keep rising, and nobody in power right now is doing a single fucking thing for the American people. Closest they're coming is having these bullshit hearings. Like the House Oversight Committee just came out and said Joe Biden definitely committed impeachable offenses, yet they won't impeach him because that would hurt them politically. So instead of punishing the people for the shit they do, they're more concerned with winning in politics. Then, of course, there is the president, who has to be the luckiest president in the history of the planet because most people get inaugurated once, maybe twice at most. But let's be real, that guy doesn't even remember he's fucking president, so he gets inaugurated every morning when somebody reminds him. Yeah, you don't have to worry about America becoming a banana republic. We already are. The choice in this election is whether or not that's going to continue. And if you elect Kamala Harris, it certainly will. Price controls, free money, basically just buying votes. I swear to God, I cannot deal with 4 years of that cackle. Yeah, that's what you're voting for. Not whether or not we become a banana republic. Since we are a banana republic, you're voting whether or not we stay that way. Vote accordingly.
Yep. And he's right. He's absolutely right. All right. We already covered that one. Here we go. Laura Loomer.
Hi, can I help you?
Hi, Mr. Ellison. How are you? My name's Laura Loomer. I'm an investigative journalist.
Hi.
I have a question. How are you going to run for Attorney General when there's domestic abuse allegations against you? Yeah, I'm a journalist. I'm asking some questions.
I don't think you heard her.
You want to run for Attorney General? Here's a police report. Here's a police report that was filed against you. Excuse me. Do not put your hands on me. There's a police report that was filed against you in 2005 by a woman by the name of Amy Alexander. As a woman, why should I vote for you, Keith Ellison, when there are domestic violence allegations against you?
I'm not a journalist. You can't get in this place. Okay? Excuse me. I'm going to need to ask you to leave, please, okay?
You cannot put your hands on me. I can file a police report against you. You cannot put your hands on me. You are touching me. Take your hands off of me. Mr. Ellison, there is a police report that was filed against you in 2005 by a woman by the name of Amy Alexander. How can you be Attorney General when you abuse women, Mr. Ellison? You don't even have a valid attorney's license to be an attorney in the state of Minnesota. Mr. Ellison. Mr. Ellison, you said that Senator Franken is scheduled to speak tomorrow. I think he will do the right thing and resign. When are you going to do the right thing and resign for abusing 2 women?
Make jokes about Muhammad.
Mr. Ellison, 2 women. Did you not tweet this? You tweeted this. If you put your hands on me, I will call the police on you. I will call the police on you if you put your hands on me. You're being filmed. If you touch me, I will file a police report against you.
We're having a family time. Why are you doing this?
Because our
families are here. We're spending a good time.
In 2005, the police were called to Amy Alexander's home, and she reported that Keith Ellison was beating her. Do you want an attorney general that beats women?
That's not what she reported.
It's right here. I have the police report right
Did not
here.
say she was beating her.
It says that she was getting abused, physical,
No, it
domestic
doesn't.
violence. Mr. Ellison, why should the women of Minnesota vote for a man who has been accused of abusing women?
Why didn't she speak up 2 years ago or 4 years ago or 6 years ago? Why hasn't she said
Doesn't matter. The Democrat Party believes all victims of abuse, I thought.
I believe all victims.
What happened to the Me Too movement? Mr. Ellison, what happened to the Me Too movement?
He's innocent until he's proven guilty.
Mr. Ellison, I don't want an attorney general who beats and abuses women, okay? I don't.
So then you have a choice. And I don't believe what you say. You're doing what
Why are you refusing
You
to answer?
need to answer the people, Mr. Ellison.
Why
You
aren't
are
you
running
answering
to
the
be attorney general. What is this? This is an assault allegation. This is a police report, Mr. Ellison. You cannot be the attorney general of Minnesota if you abuse women, Mr. Ellison. Mr. Ellison.
Mr. Ellison. Mr. Ellison,
Mr. Ellison.
can you make jokes about Muhammad? Is this Sharia law to you?
Mr. Ellison, you said that you were very proud of your friend, Senator Al Franken, as he spoke passionately about the Violence Against Women Act.
Are you condoning female genital mutilation?
Why did you beat Amy Alexander and Karen Monahan? What are you going to do when this videotape comes out of you abusing them? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Mr. Ellison? You going to run me over? You going to run me over? Is that what you're going to do? You going to abuse another woman? I don't need to do anything.
Yes,
I'm a
you-
journalist. I can ask whatever question I want.
There are rules about this. You violated
I am
them.
not violating any rules. I have a First Amendment, the Constitution. He took his oath on the Quran. Maybe he should read the Constitution. Who are you? Who are you?
Just somebody.
Okay, well, you obviously don't have courage because you're not even giving me your name. I will ask him whatever question I want.
Come on back. Come on back. Come on
Me
back.
too, Mr. Ellison. Me too.
Me too.
Come on back.
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag me too, Mr. Ellison.
Gender yourself. We do not need an AG like you. I love you.
Anybody today?
We don't want an attorney general who abuses women.
Please let him out. Let him out.
Me too, Keith Ellison. Me too.
The Democrat National Committee should be ashamed of itself. Bye, Mr. Ellison. Bye. Bye.
Ran him out of his own event. Ran him out of his own event. Yeah.
All
right. Here we go.
I
Betty
don't want
Crocker.
to spend the entire time talking about Thomas Crooks, but since you did bring up that you're going to get an FBI briefing today, perhaps you could ask them how he wasn't flagged for searching about roadside bombs, about pipe bombs. How do you do that? Right? Like I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't, because that's a number one way that you'll go to jail for the rest of your life.
Right.
You have served in war. Presumably, you've seen roadside bombs. You most likely you've seen the devastation.
Suffered on the bad end of them.
That's right. And so these are dangerous things. I know there are different classifications of bombs. How did he have three? How did this guy with no military training get 3 bombs
And had the detonator on his body?
Sure.
So
you
what
can't
was the
just search these
intent,
things, right? Like,
and how
you
do
know.
we just at this point? I mean, this is taking a step back. and this is the point I was trying to make to Don Jr., there are ongoing threats right now as we speak, both domestic and international, which is totally unprecedented. We've never had an adversary openly talking about plotting and planning to kill a former president or acting candidate of the United States with zero consequences from this administration. None. Not even a strongly worded knock it off.
They haven't even talked about it at the DNC. Not once has the assassination been mentioned.
So this isn't just an isolated incident where clearly things went wrong. There are systemic problems that have him, in a very vulnerable position right now as we speak. And what's he doing? God bless the man. He's doing an outdoor rally today. Today. So the people that were responsible haven't been suspended. They haven't been even laterally transferred. They're still in the system.
I can't get my head around the whole roadside bomb thing, though. And since you've seen them, I'm not sure if you've ever been a victim of one. I'm not exactly certain, but I'm sure you've experienced them since you were deployed multiple times.
Yes,
to
I
war
was not
zones.
personally wounded. I don't want to overstate,
of course,
anything on my service. Unlike
this was ubiquitous. These bombs were all over the place,
going off
right?
all over the time.
So state actors training militia to create roadside bombs in war zones. These are not things you can just Google search here stateside. You can't just go find a way to make one. You have to have some type of training.
But do you know the number one purveyor and trainer of roadside bombs and the most lethal roadside bombs? Iran. Over 600 American soldiers died in Iraq at the hands of Iranian made, and then they would actually go in and train the militias on how to use them.
So how didn't the FBI ensnare digitally somebody?
Great question.
Building 3 different, what I believe are, they could have blown up.
Yeah,
I
so
think
we
that
don't
they
know
were
if he intended
operational,
to send that car into the crowd.
operational devices. Yeah.
As a, after he had taken the shot to facilitate his escape, or what?
How do you do it?
Exactly.
Yeah. I hope you get to the bottom of that
too.
And how our federal agencies didn't flag the guy, or who was his handler, who was teaching him those things. This is not like common knowledge for people. Okay. Seems to be the biggest smoking gun, for lack of a better term. Yeah.
There was a guy asked, I think it was about 4 years ago, about how he would build a device. And the guy said, well, the first thing I have to do is go out and buy about 5,000 rounds of a 30-06, or I have to get, what was it? I think it was 9,000 or 10,000 rounds, shotgun shells. And he says, so I would already have the gunpowder necessary in order to do something. And then the interview was turned off. And I'm trying to remember who it was that was doing the interview. I'll have to find, see if I can find it so I can play it for you guys one day. But basically what he was doing was he was going into talking about how he could build booby traps and roadside devices so that he could protect his where he lived, and so when you look at this, it's like, well, there's a certain amount that you can get away with feasibly obtaining, but then there are other things that you can't get unless somebody's helping you get them. So it's like, it's one thing to buy rounds for a rifle, but it's another to obtain the materials necessary in order to build something like an IED and stuff. So, the Anarchist Cookbook talked about many, many things that you could do in order to, to booby trap type devices and things like that. But most of those did not include those types of explosives, yeah. Dean, I saw that too. I saw that as well. So, yeah, it's crazy what they can do with the 3D printer nowadays. It is. All right. Wall Street Babe says more Americans waking up to the truth about the U.S. government. $5 billion for Donald Trump's border was too expensive, but 500. Well, I'll just let this guy tell you.
So I just read that during Donald Trump's presidency, he proposed building a border wall, which would have costed $5 billion. The media covered it by saying it was a waste of taxpayer dollars. They also made it seem like it was impossible to build. But today, I'm figuring out that the United States is paying $531 billion a year to house and care for illegal immigrants crossing the border. Just something to think about. But what do you think?
Yep. $5 billion compared to $531 billion a year. I think it's a no-brainer. Yeah. This 78-year-old old man speaking the truth.
What the fuck has happened to us? I know America is the land of opportunity, but what has happened to us where an ex-prostitute call girl is vice president of the United States running for president? I'm blown away. Can't even believe it. Land of opportunity where even a whore can run for office. Wow. So much for our freedoms. Yep, I can't believe it. What has happened to this country? 78-year-old man has seen a lot in his life.
That really irritates the crap out of me. So it's Jerry or Grizzly Jerry. Let me look him up on TikTok real quick, because it really irritates the piss out of me when people throw music over the top of somebody else's video. It really, really does. Let's see. Grizzly Jerry. Grizzly Jerry. Okay.
Well, what the fuck is happening?
Oh, no, it's in there too. Okay.
Been all over the world. Third world countries, worked in Africa, and never seen anything as corrupt as this in the whole world that I've been through. South America, Caribbean, Asia, Africa, been there all, seen it all, and we are at the low part of frickin' society now. I can't believe it. Glad I'm going to be dying soon so I don't have to see the crap that this country is going to go through.
And you can't blame him for that. You can't blame him for that, but don't lose your life because of it, my friend. All right. Trump interview on Fox and Friends this morning. Here we go.
But this is now back in the states where it belongs. And again, every Democrat, every Republican, everybody wanted Roe v. Wade terminated and brought back to the states. Then about 10 years ago, they started talking about the number of weeks and the number of this and that. No. Right now, it's in the hands of the people. The people in the individual states are voting. I did something that's going to bring our country together eventually. But because they lie so much at this convention, they make it sound like it's I want a federal ban. Won't happen.
Right.
It's not going to happen. It's in the hands of the states.
Right. Mr. President, yesterday there was a big announcement or big rumors spreading that RFK Jr. might be dropping out, might be endorsing you. His spokesperson said they will give a live address tomorrow about his path forward. And now there are rumors that he might join you at this rally in Arizona tomorrow to announce that he's supporting you. What's the truth? Have you talked to him?
So I've known him for a long time. As you know, he's a little different kind of a guy. Very smart guy, a very good person. If he endorsed me, I would be honored by it. I would be very honored by it. He really has his heart in the right place. He is a respected person. Women love some of his policies, and I guess some people don't like some of his policies. But overall, I thought the Democrats, he was a Democrat. I don't know what he is right now, but he was a Democrat. They treated him very badly. I think he would have, he goes around saying he would have beaten Biden in the primary. I think there was a good chance. What they did to him was what they did to Biden. They really were harsh and threw him out. They wouldn't let him go to the vote. I mean, they made it impossible for him to compete in primaries because he was doing so well. And they basically made it impossible for him to do what I think he would have been successful. I think he would have overthrown Biden because Biden is so bad as a president. When I hear this talk about Mount Rushmore, I turn off your television. If I have to read an article, I just throw it down. Mount Rushmore for this man who is the worst president in our history. He's allowed, and she is, because she was the border czar. Now she disowns that. She's allowed millions of people to come into our country, many of these people totally unchecked, totally unvetted. Many of these people came into our country, think of this, from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums. And Brian, there's many terrorists coming in.
There's no doubt about it. There's 99 on the FBI watch list that are in our country right now. And we just talked to a sheriff that says we have more people turn themselves in, but more gotaways than ever before with these new rules. Mr. President, they keep bringing up the fact that you were against the bipartisan bill that Senator Langford and Senator Murphy came up with about 6 months ago. You didn't want it done. What didn't you like about that bipartisan bill on the border?
Everything. It was no good. Millions of people in that bill, millions and millions of people would have allowed to come in. And, Senator Langford hurt himself. He's a fine person. He hurt himself by even putting that forward. But more importantly, you don't need a bill. If they want to close the border, I had the best border in history. You see the numbers. You see the famous chart that probably saved my life, if you want to know the truth. But the chart that I was pointing to, that I made a turn to the right, showed that they had the least number in recorded history. The week that I left office, we had, by the way, the lowest inflation, and we had the least number of illegal immigrants.
But you just didn't like that bill.
Country.
They said that you killed the bill for political reasons. Did you kill it because you wanted to do it yourself? And if you fixed the border, it would have hurt your chances of getting reelected. What do you say to that?
Brian, I didn't do anything on the bill. People would ask my opinion, but I didn't do anything on the bill. I think they respect my opinion. It was a terrible bill. But more importantly, if they want to fix the border, they don't need a bill. The president of the United States, which is what I did. I didn't have a bill to close the border. I closed the border. I had the safest border. I had the least drugs coming into our country in 38 years. I had the least, you have the human traffickers are horrible, and they traffic in children and they traffic in women, mostly women. But I had the lowest number of, we went after them with a vengeance. Nobody's ever gone after. They will be very happy. I'll tell you what, they would be very happy to see these lightweights get back into office. They don't want Trump back. But I had the lowest human trafficking of children and women in ever recorded, ever. And, the internet makes it very hard because the internet, that's become a business based on the internet. The internet has brought that into a modern business, and it's almost as big as the drug business for these people. But I had the lowest number of drugs, everything. We had a great border. All Biden had to do is go to the beach and leave it alone. We had the best people. We had guys like Tom Homan and Brandon Judd and all these people. Paul has taken Brandon Judd's place, as you know. He's fantastic. All of these people were stars, and they were doing such a good job. I had a policy: remain in Mexico. You couldn't come in. Mexico's going crazy with me, by the way. Remain in Mexico. You couldn't come in. The policy was so good. They ended it in the first week. No longer remain in Mexico. It was so incredible. They couldn't come in unless they got approved. We'd check them. Very few of them were able to come in because there were so many criminals. We kept criminals out. Now you have murderers, drug dealers. Countries are sending from all over the world, not just South America, all over the world. They're sending their killers, their murderers, their drug dealers, and their jails are being emptied out into the United States of America. They are destroying our country. She is a Marxist. She has no idea. She wants to have open borders. And if she got elected, the next day she'd have no drilling and she'd have open borders.
So, Mr.
With
President,
me, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
I get elected, I drill, drill first day, and we have closed borders.
And when you look at the polling, you're winning on the issue when it comes to the border. You're also winning on the economy, which is why we were surprised when we found out this new data, and it shows that 818,000 jobs that the Harris and Biden administration claimed to have created over the past year, they didn't actually exist. And this has been the largest revision ever in the last 15 years. So, Mr. President, was this purely incompetence? What do you think is going on here?
No, I think it was a fraud. 818,000 jobs. You know what that is? Almost 1 million jobs. They said they had them, and they didn't have them. And I was surprised, too, because I'd see their job numbers. Everyone knows the economy's lousy. I'd see their job numbers. I was surprised. It was a fraud. That was absolutely a fraud. They ought to investigate themselves. And, by the way, nothing will happen. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics came out with a revision because somebody leaked it. And when they leaked it, they had to come out and give the real numbers. They found almost 1 million jobs that they said that they created. That made their numbers look better, but now their numbers are horrible. The economy's bad. Inflation is killing our country. The border is ruining the fabric of our country. We have to get the criminals out. We have to get the people from the mental institutions back to their mental institutions. Our country is being destroyed. And the press, I mean, thank you for taking these calls, but you look at NBC and you look at ABC fake news and you look at all of these people, CBS, they don't even talk about the border. They don't talk about the drugs that are pouring into our country. They don't talk about the 1 million people that they falsely reported had jobs, and they don't have jobs. They don't exist. It was a total fraud. They don't talk about it. They don't talk about Biden. The day Biden spoke that morning in Congress, they said that he stole $27 million. I have not seen that story anywhere, but a very light mention, to be honest with you, on Fox. Very light, much lighter than it should be. If that was me that stole $27 million, it would be headlines. They wouldn't even be talking about the convention. The man stole, or they say the man and the family, the morning of their convention on Monday, $27 million. They have it all documented. They don't even talk about it. The newspapers, the press, there's not a story to be heard.
Right.
The only one that reported a little bit about it was Fox.
You're talking about the House GOP Oversight Committee's investigation into the Biden influence peddling schemes, Mr. President.
Correct.
But I do want to stay on the economy because it's the number one issue to voters, far and away. And I want your opinion as a businessman. We get very little from Kamala Harris. Again, back to policies and how this affects Americans and the economy. Very little. But what we have gotten are things like price controls and in the Biden-Harris administration's proposal, taking capital gains to 45% tax, talking about a clawback of unrealized gain. As a businessman, what would that do to the economy?
So just a couple of things real quick. Price controls have been used many, many times over the years, usually by dictators and all, but they've been used many times. They've never, ever worked. Venezuela used price controls, and Venezuela got driven out. I mean, you can't get a loaf of bread, although now we're buying oil from Venezuela. Let's not even talk about that. We're now buying oil. Instead of using our good stuff, they don't have good oil. They have tar. You have to refine it, and we refine it in Houston, Texas, and that spills into the air in Houston. So Venezuela might not be as poor as it should be, but Venezuela would have made a deal with us very quickly. They were on the ends of the line. But the price controls have been used many, many times over years. Even Richard Nixon tried them. They've always led to huge inflation and lack of, you don't get anything. You end up with empty stores. They are a disaster. 38 different cases, 38 cases were abject total failures. So that's on price controls. And just on the other, we have countries and companies that are multinational. You raise your taxes like that, that would put us at the highest level of any country. Every one of these big these guys get paid to make profit. Some of them are very good. Some of them aren't, but like everything else, but they're very good. And they're very smart. They will move their companies out of our country. They did it with Ireland. The pharmaceutical companies left. A lot of they moved to Ireland. A lot of them moved to Ireland, of all places, and that's very nice. I hope they're happy.
Because the corporate rate's like 18% there.
Yeah, but they're not going to pay 45% because they can move to many other countries.
Yep.
Germany, they can move to many other countries. And by the way, those countries really want these companies to move. So when people think, oh, we're going to charge them 45%, we're going to charge them, I heard a thing, she wants to charge them 55 and 60%. They'll say, thank you very much. And all of a sudden you'll announce that they got up. You say, where is such and such a company? Well, they moved to Europe. They're someplace in Europe. They will leave the country. I had it down so nice. I was
you had it
able
down
to
to
get
21,
it down.
and they wanted
I
to
got
raise it
down
to
from
28.
48. Yeah, I got it down from 48 to 21. I wanted to get it down to 15 or 16. But what that did is it gave the largest job spurt we've ever had. We had, prior to COVID coming in, we had the strongest economy in the history of the world of any country. Now, what happened is we had COVID. We did a great job with COVID, including all of the various drugs and everything else that we got, the gowns, the mess. What we did was incredible. I got a lot of credit for the economy, got a lot of credit for rebuilding the military, never got credit for that. I handed him something that was great. You know, more people died during his COVID during Biden than during Trump. And I had it during the really bad period all over the world. But we gave it back. Now, he had what's called a bounce back. And this happens with what you do is people are staying in and then it bounces back. And he picked up all of those jobs that I created, and he tries to take credit for them. It's common when you have pandemics, you have what's called a bounce back. When the pandemic starts to end and when it ends, people bounce back, and they bounce back into the job. Those are my jobs. Those aren't his jobs. They routinely bounce back. And we created the greatest job machine in the history of our country. Right. We created the greatest economy in the history of the world. It was interrupted by COVID, but even that, when I turned over, the stock market was higher than just prior to COVID coming in. It was a miracle what happened. Yeah. But we will do it again, and we will create the greatest economy in history. If these two people take it over, this country is finished. Well, she's a Marxist, and that's where she's going to be. Open borders, no drilling. Our country will die.
Mr. President, you got 75 days to win or to lose. If you win, it would cap the greatest comeback in American political history. Best of luck.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, Brian, if I might say, we're leading in the polls, and we're out there working hard. You mentioned that, RFK would be the biggest thing. I said, well, I'm making big speeches every day. I'm going to make another one. So we're really out there. But we're leading in the polls, and we're going to continue, and we're going to win. November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country. Remember that.
And early voting starts in a couple of weeks. Early voting starts in a couple of weeks.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. It's going to be exciting.
Thanks, Mr. President.
We did
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did reach out to Harris.
Yeah. We reached out to Harris, and she didn't have a comment. Yeah. She doesn't want to do anything with Fox. She wants ABC. Yeah. I wonder why. Live to TikTok, far left DNC protester. Oh, I'll just play it.
What's your name? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to.
I'm going to keep my name.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. What's your headband?
This is the headband for the military wing responsible for the resistance operations in Gaza.
Okay. Hamas?
Yeah.
Okay, you support Hamas?
I do.
Why do you support Hamas?
So I would support any and all resistance operations that fight for the freedom of our country, for the freedom of Palestine.
Does that include October 7th?
Yes.
You support October 7th?
Yes.
Why?
Because it didn't start on October 7th. It started in 1948. October 7th is just a response to that.
But do you support the actions on October 7th?
What actions are you talking about specifically?
Like specifically the sieging of kibbutz and the murder of innocent civilians in their homes?
It was established and proven that the murder of innocent civilians was actually committed by the Israeli military.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
I've seen the body camera footage from Al-Qassam brigaders breaking into homes and murdering people.
They broke into military sites as well as homes, but it doesn't matter because...
But you support the breaking into the homes?
Yes.
Yeah, he says in our country, and he's talking about Palestine. I don't know. I've never heard a Palestinian speak such good English. Yeah, All right, JD Vance, ABC cuts the live feed as JD Vance is talking about welcoming the endorsement of RFK Jr. What's up with that?
So I don't know if those reports are true, but I would certainly welcome his endorsement. I mean, I grew up in a family. I was raised by my poor grandmother who didn't have a high school diploma, but
yeah.
Looks like we just lost Senator J.D. Vance there.
So I don't know if those reports.
Yeah, ABC, NBC, most of them are going to end up going away, folks. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You're going to be watching idiots like me for the rest of your lives. Yay! Now, you know when this is all over, I'm going back to doing music. Yep. All right. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You decided to come out of the woods, huh? Hello. Sorry, I just got mauled by a puppy. Bigger puppy. Hi. How you doing? You doing okay? Yeah, I can't get to my mouse because you're in my way. Yeah. People want to see what's going on and you're stopping me from doing it. Yeah. Yeah. I only got like 20 minutes left and you're messing up my game. What's up with that? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I get it. I get it. I do. I get it. I do. Yeah. It's just what? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. A freshman at MLK Prep in Tennessee wore the same clothes to school every day and was getting bullied. 2 high school football players shut that down and gave him clothes and new shoes. Boy said it was the best day of my entire life. I mean, seriously, really. This is what life is all about. You know, Christ once said that if a man steals your cloak, don't go to get your cloak back, but instead bring him your tunic. In most cases, when it comes to clothing, you know, well, you think about it. Let's look at it like this. Parents have to save 9 months out of the year to clothe their kids for 5 months or 6 months out of the year. Right? You know, you're always buying, you're always out buying back to school clothes, things like that, you know. And what's really funny is the kids will wear the new clothes for like the first 2 weeks, and then after that they go back to wearing old t-shirts, old pants, old shorts and skirts and things. You know, it's weird how that happens. Now, boys, not so much, because boys tend to grow faster than the girls do, you know. So girls, it's shit. I dated one girl, her daughter was 12 years old. Okay. And she was wearing her 12-year-old daughter's clothes because they fit perfect. You know, and it wasn't one of those things because they were tight or anything like that. Okay. But mom and daughter shared clothes. They basically lived out of the same two damn closets. I didn't get a closet. I had 2 drawers in the dresser, and that's all I had. Everything else was kept in my Bronco. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Totally sexist house. Absolutely. Only girls get closets. What's wrong with that? So, for serious. What's wrong with get 2 drawers? All right. Natalie Winter says, you want to stand on stage and mock Trump, Barack Obama? Well, at least no one thinks his wife is a man.
Radicalness, I guess at least the ones outside have the nerve, have the guts to at least say it to your face that they want to destroy this country. Obama, Michelle, Hillary, they like to still speak, I guess, in nice euphemisms. Like, we want to radically transform this country. We want comprehensive immigration reform, amnesty. It's so great. The people coming here just want a better life. No, they don't. They want to come for your life. They want to take the lives of your fellow Americans and take your jobs while they're at it. No, and if you complain about it, you're a racist. Did you know that? And Obama has the nerve to stand after destroying this country for decades, to stand on stage and mock President Trump for that silly, childish remark. Well, you know what? At least no one thinks his wife is a man. And I'll leave it at that. Radicalness.
Wonder how many Americans got to see that live. Yeah. This guy says he's had enough. He's had enough.
You don't want to do that. Take that shit down the street. Yeah, take that shit down the street. We don't want you to fuck over here. We got it. We got it. I got it. We got it. We got you, man. Move the fuck around. We don't want you here.
They totally trample his grass too, because if you look at that, you can see all the dead spots and everything, and that's all from people gathering. And this has been going on for 4 days now, so it's like they're just trampling all over. You know, this guy's got to go out and maintain that stuff, and it's like, now where I'm at, there is an easement off of the road that the highway people are responsible for. All right, that's where all the telephone poles run. That's where, where the breakdown lane is and things like that. That's the responsibility of the county to take care of. That's not my job to do. I just have to maintain my entry. You know, I got to keep it cut back so that people can pull in and pull out and actually see up the road in both directions and not get slammed into by some rock truck that comes barreling around the corner, things like that, it's like people put pride, take pride in their work, and and I'm not saying that he's being prideful. I'm saying that he takes pride in keeping a well-maintained yard. And you got people people from out of state, just hanging out and causing disruption in your neighborhood and everything else. And people are tired of it. They're done with it. They want them gone. They want them out of there. They're tired of this stuff, And the thing is it's more and more people from everywhere are tired of this. And it's going to come to a head in the long run, so. All right. Sassafras says this is badass. I dedicate this one to the DNC trying to gaslight the American people. All right.
I was so tired of gas and groceries being so cheap. I wanted to pay more for my food. That's when I discovered Dip Shizzy. After electing Dip Shizzy, my food and energy prices skyrocketed, and I couldn't be happier. With Dip Shizzy, I finally get to experience the joys of communism right here at home. But that's not all. Along with significantly higher food and energy prices, Dip Shizzy helps me contribute more to foreign wars. I was so tired of all the peace and prosperity we had under that mean orange guy. Now I can sleep easy knowing my hard-earned money is paying for bombs on the other side of the world.
Side effects may include extreme inflation, reduced purchasing power, and an overwhelming sense of wanting to hang tampon dispensers above urinals. Consult your dad before starting Dip Shizzy. Do not take Dip Shizzy if you are not an idiot.
Thanks to Dip Shizzy, my dreams of a more expensive and complicated life have finally come true. Thanks to Dip Shizzy, I can't afford and that means everything. Now's the time to ask your dad about Dip Shizzy and learn how communism works.
We will, because we're going to put in the hard work over the next 77 days.
Yeah. If anybody has ever made me want to Ahab, leave that baby alone. All right. Yes, Barack Obama had a persuasive, powerful speech last night, but in order to buy what the left's selling, you have to be completely oblivious to the political reality. Here we go.
You just keep everybody apart. That's what it looks like. If you put them all in the room together and lock the door, only one person comes out, and it's probably Michelle. My mother texted me after the speeches last night, and she said, "Are you a Democrat yet?" This is what I'm dealing with. The Obamas can fool a lot of people, but they can't fool me. Yes, it was a persuasive speech. Yes, it was very powerful. Of course, it was well crafted. But in order to buy what they're selling, you have to be completely oblivious to political reality. My grandmother, Judge Janine, used to tell me, beware of those who use their virtue as a cudgel. And this is what the Obamas do. They say decency, dignity, charity, generosity. They have a monopoly on that. And if you would disagree with them, then you're just an evil ghoul. I always say, don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do. They've lost 300,000 kids. They've poured migrants into black neighborhoods. They've ruined women's sports. They've made life more dangerous and expensive for Americans. Those aren't virtuous actions. That's incredibly dishonorable. Then the Obamas say the Republicans aren't generous. Have you ever seen Sean Hannity tip? They say Republicans don't sacrifice. Let's take a poll of the Army. Let's see who they're voting for. They say Republicans avoid taxes while Hunter Biden's on trial for tax evasion. And then they go and say, oh, you know, Republicans want to poison rivers and fire people. But this country's too polarized. We need to come together. What? Come on, guys. The whole thing about Trump complaining too much, this is like someone who stabs you, and then when you're crying, they call you a whiner. They have fined this guy. They've arrested him. They've raided his house, and he can't talk about it. Give me a break. Hope is not a plan. And we still have never heard a plan.
Yep. Still haven't heard a plan. Yep. All right. Crash, put this one out.
He also decided to maximize his enjoyment by engaging with a 15-year-old girl online. Here in Hillsborough County, we are committed to stopping predators like John Craddock, and unbeknownst to him, he was actually talking to our undercover detectives. With the objective of having sex with this 15-year-old, Craddock sent numerous explicit and perverse messages and even audio messages describing details of the sexual acts he wanted to perform on this 15-year-old. Believing all of his effort was about to pay off, he traveled to meet this young girl. Yet he received a big surprise when the 15-year-old turned out to be one of our undercover detectives. This next individual is no stranger to breaking the law. In addition to being on probation in Georgia, he was also charged in 2020 for keeping a place of prostitution. While here in Florida, he hatched a business plan of sorts to exploit women to perform sex acts for a profit. He made contact online with who he thought was a 30-year-old potential victim, but was in fact a highly trained member of our human trafficking squad. Over the period of 3 weeks, 28-year-old Devontae Kershaw laid out his scheme that entailed giving the trafficking victim just 40% of what she earned and generated if she produced at least $5,000 of income a week. And for his 60%, he would arrange the dates and travel to New York, Ohio, and Georgia. After attempting to groom our undercover detective for nearly a month, it was time to meet. Kershaw was so confident that he met with our undercover detective for more than an hour. And our human trafficking squad closed the deal with a solid arrest and a RICO charge, amongst others. As parents, we may hear about operations like this and think that could never happen to my child. But this next case highlights the terrifying reality that it can, even under our own roof. During the course of Operation Summer Shield, we received a tip that a 17-year-old girl who was being forced by her trafficker to secretly have sex for profit. To make matters worse, she was living at home with her mother. Her mother having no idea that she was trapped in a cycle of horror with 28-year-old human trafficker Dante Burton. Burton would post explicit photos of this young girl on adult escort websites, arrange the dates, and collect the money from her forced servitude. This sick scheme went on for about 3 months until we received a tip, and our human trafficking squad quickly went to work. A federal arrest warrant was issued and Burton was taken into custody. And this young girl will carry the deep scars of this unimaginable experience forever, was rescued. Dante Burton will be prosecuted by the Federal Prosecutor's Office of the United States Attorney's Office. He is charged with sex trafficking of a child and faces a maximum penalty of life in prison. As for the victim, she is now in the care of the organization One More Child, who is providing respite care and services so that she may heal and see the bright future she now has. Equally horrifying is the next case that will keep any parent up at night. Dennis Aguilar Morado met his victim when she was just 16 years of age at a neighborhood park. After exchanging numbers, our bad guy spent months grooming her for the nightmare that began when she turned 17. Aguilar Morado had sex with this young teenage girl on at least 4 occasions and would pay her between $40 and $60 for her sex acts. It was not until our deputies encountered the two at an abandoned restaurant in Brandon that Aguilar Morado's criminal behavior ended. While on proactive patrol, deputies found the two in the backseat of a small SUV where they had sex in exchange for money, and Aguilar Morado was immediately arrested. Our human trafficking squad became involved, developed additional probable cause, and charged this suspect with human trafficking. The teenager was rescued, is on the road to recovery, and supported by professionals at One More Child. To our human trafficking squad, thank you doesn't seem adequate enough. As most families were taking time off during the summer, you worked additional hours and long days to safeguard this community. Operation Summer Shield was named after you, the shields to protect the victims, the shields to protect the most vulnerable, the shields to protect countless individuals that never became a victim because of your efforts. It is you who is the line, the wall between good and evil. Thank you for everything that you do. When you do,
you know, none of this was going on. Nobody was busting anybody till Trump went into office. He started a spark across his country that is not ending anytime soon. I'm telling you. All right, Mayrox. Here we go.
Hey, you guys, we got a new US Dead Clock message. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. It says devolution. We've got the Capitol right here underneath the Capitol. It looks like it's like a circuit or some sort of system, right? And we've got these little things that are either spitting out these commodities onto the United States. I don't know if they're spitting them out or sucking them up into the system, into the Capitol. Let's take a closer look. Here we go. So you see, it looks like Texas has like the oil, right? And the system, if you zoom in closer, it looks kind of like a circuit, or these little systems are coming down from the Capitol underneath, like the underground of the Capitol. And these little bell-looking things are either sucking up the commodities into the system or spitting them out. So to me, it kind of looks like they're sucking it up into the system of the Capitol. And the placements of the commodities seem like they're supposed to be in these places.
Like we have gold here, but if you look if you look down here where Texas is, that's where the oil is. So they're kind of telling us which areas of the United States has the most commodities in this area, right? And you see here, I think it's sucking it up into the capital. See, we have devolution. And usually we're used to seeing revolution, which has been like a main topic of the US debt clock messages. But today we have devolution. So first, let's look up the definition of revolution is a forcible overthrow of a government or social order in favor of a new system, right? The definition of devolution, the transfer or delegation of power to a lower level, especially by central government to a local or regional administration. And then we also have the legal transfer of property from one owner to another. What does that remind you of, right? Now, we've been talking a lot about XRP, and a lot of people are confused, or they just don't understand the dynamics of XRP and Ripple. And honestly, I think I know enough just to get by, but I'm in no way an expert. And I think EchoX does an amazing job explaining things on that level because he has more in-depth knowledge of cryptocurrency and how it works and how the dynamics of XRP is like the backbone to this whole system that we've been waiting for. So I have heard a lot of people saying XRP is not gold backed. It's not gold backed. You guys will, the ledger, the XRP ledger, it's like the system. Okay, so Ripple is the company and XRP, the ledger, is the system that's going to allow these payments to go through. It's a payment processing system, okay? And then these stable coins are going to be housed in the XRP ledger, right? That they're backed by commodities. So these stable coins, like say, for example, we've just received the announcement that the U.S. Treasury bill from the Open Eden system, that is going to be on the XRP ledger, which is an asset-backed stablecoin, I believe. That's going to be like the U.S. Treasury dollar. So there's going to be several of these stable coins that are going to be backed by different commodities. Like say, for example, we've been seeing a lot of news out of like Iraq or like Saudi Arabia or BRICS even, that these payments for oil are being processed digitally, okay? So XRP is like the payment system that is going to be completed at a faster pace, and it's much cheaper than using like Ethereum or any other system, because Ethereum is like super expensive to process these fees, and it takes some time. But with the XRP or the XRP ledger, the payments go through like practically instantaneously. And this is on a global scale, okay? So anyway, these stable coins will be on the XRP ledger, okay? Now, I just wanted to bring up, EchoX did a great video on one of the Kim Clement prophecies where he prophesied XRP. There are several things that Kim Clement has prophesied that they're coming to fruition right now, you guys. Now, if you guys remember, I posted this video on August 8th where I tied in XRP to Jesus Christ, right? The X in IXOIE is Christ, okay? And this P right here is pronounced Rho, okay? So XRP is Kai Rho, which is Christos in Greek. And EchoX did this video where he found the Kim Clement prophecy where he prophesied XRP. And I want to show you guys a clip of this prophecy. And he's talking about this X/P being a system. Okay, so you guys pay attention, okay?
I've seen this whole course, I'm seeing God doing it right now. Where it's the source of energy is very important for people who are listening all over the world. And I had 2 clues, which I'm going to give you one today. Okay? I'm going to give you one clue now, which I haven't spoken of yet. You ready, Mr. Codebreaker?
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
'Cause I'm the code maker. And then the other one is the tree, the oak tree, which is a symbol which people have been researching, not yet revealed. But people are researching out there because it's a puzzle. God won't give us everything because it's not the right time. But something starting with an X and it has a P in it is a very profound something that's going to be worth investing in. And I can't say the whole thing because I don't know it. But I had a dream and I saw an X and I think there may have been a number and there's something else and then P. Now, I'm only giving you what I prophetically hear. Otherwise, I could be accused of representing a company, which, of course, they could take me to court on that, but I'm not going to, that's what I'm hearing. And most people know I hear things by the Holy Spirit, and I just say it. And so it's a prophetic thing, this. But it's also giving signs to the people seeing this.
So first of all, he mentions XRP or X, whatever P, as a system. And then he references that it's something worth investing in. And then he says this is a prophecy. This is something that was given to him through prophecy. And he referenced the X and the P, which is Kai Rho, which is Christos in Greek. And that is completely separate from this video that I did. I was not aware that Kim Clement had even made a prophecy with XRP, but I made this before I was aware of it, linking Kai Rho Christos to XRP, which I think is like even more amazing that we have this prophecy through Kim Clement, who prophesied this system with XRP. And his videos were made, like, he passed away in, I think, 2016. So all of his prophecies are way before 2016. And I don't even think XRP was even thought of at that time. So anyway, I will tag this video to my XRP video. If you haven't already watched it, you guys, we are living through biblical times right now. If you are not completely convinced on XRP, you guys just have faith. That's all I'm asking, okay? And if you're not already following Echo X, I think his handle is at Echo the Truth. I'll tag him in this video. You guys go follow him. He is more of the crypto digital expert in this community, and I'm kind of more like on the spiritual side. I really do try the best I can to explain things on the digital side, but he definitely has that area covered. But on the spiritual side, I have more of a connection with that, so I explain things better on that spiritual sense of it, like the biblical type of thing. So I think we kind of like complement each other on that aspect. So anyway, you guys go follow him, and I will see you guys on the next Debt Clock message.
Yeah, how about that? Let's see, silver. Let's see, what is it on the it's a AG and 47. 47. 47, huh? Yeah. Well, how about that? All right. Moving on. Did anyone hear about this?
It was about an hour after the rally concluded here. We looked over in the parking lot and saw this law enforcement presence, and then saw the law enforcement officials removing these weapons from the vehicle here, where at least one arrest was made. In terms of why they had the weapons here, if there was any motive or intention that was nefarious, we don't know that at this point. We're working to get more details, but it certainly underscores this concern of security that you've had, especially on today, the first rally since that assassination assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania that was held in an outdoor venue like this, and the first time we saw that ballistic glass being put to use. The Secret Service had said that they would be upping the security presence or parameters, but this is the first time we've seen anything like that.
Yeah. How about that? Put capitulation video and boom, are you all ready to gamble? It's just a feeling. I'd rather go with my gut than someone else's fear porn, says Strip Keeper.
We're going to have peace through strength all over the world like we had just a short while ago. And I just want to say, closing, it's an honor to have served for 4 years. I wish we didn't have this break. The only thing good about the break is it shows how bad it can get, because we've never had a country that's been in shape like this country is in right now. We're going to have peace through strength all over the world.
Yep. All right. Okay, Robert F. Kennedy. Here we go. This is more on his court cases.
I thought it went really well. I mean, I shouldn't be here right now. The DNC is in Chicago talking about their commitment to voting rights, and they're spending, tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to keep me off the ballot. I was raised in the Democratic Party. My father, Robert Kennedy, my uncle John Kennedy, at a time when the primary thrust of the Democratic Party in that era was to make sure that every American could vote. There were people in our country who were being denied the right to vote, that every American could vote for the person they wanted. There's 1 million people in this country who signed petitions trying to get me on the ballot. 145,000 at least people here in New York State who said they want to see me on the ballot. Why is the Democratic Party trying to disenfranchise those people? What's happened to the party? I don't think my father would recognize this party, and I don't think my uncle would recognize this party.
Yep, they probably rolling over in the grave. Yep. All right, here we go.
Democrats are dusting off Bill Clinton and Nancy Pelosi for night 3 of the DNC, followed by Tim Walz accepting the VP nomination, and he'll be delivering his speech in Mandarin. We'll also have a performance by Stevie Wonder and John Legend. Forget the popcorn. Carville's whipping out the Doritos.
She eats Doritos, you see? Doritos. There you go. Oh, God. I'm eating Doritos.
Tonight, you're going to hear a lot about Donald Trump and very little about policy.
They mentioned my name, I think, 271 times. They mentioned the economy like 12 times. They mentioned the border, maybe none. They don't talk about the border.
This is the Obama strategy: heavy on hope, light on action. A party focused on one man can't be focused on you. Kamala isn't in the building tonight, and she wasn't here last night to hear the Obamas. Biden's still very upset with Barack for staging the coup. So Kamala thought it'd make Biden even angrier if she snuggled up to Michelle on live TV. The Obamas delivered a powerful and persuasive argument last night, but anybody who bought it is oblivious to political reality. Their message last night was, claim you're so virtuous, you don't have to discuss your record or policies. The Democrats apparently have a monopoly on morality, and if you vote Republican, you're just a selfish and greedy ghoul.
This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right. To stand up, not just for our basic freedoms, but for decency and humanity, for basic respect, dignity, and empathy.
The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt, that sacrifice and generosity are for suckers.
Beware of those who brag about how virtuous they are. Actions speak louder than words. losing 300,000 migrant kids, pouring foreigners into black neighborhoods, castrating children behind their parents' back, firing workers for refusing government injections, ruining women's sports, and making life more dangerous and expensive for working Americans isn't dignified, isn't honorable, and certainly isn't virtuous. Bill Clinton is on the stage tonight. Not decent. Barack Obama even said Trump has a small Anthony Weiner.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Trump has grievances, yeah. Besides what Democrats are doing to the country, they raided his house, arrested him, and fined him $300 million. And that was just in one calendar year. Democrats stab you, and when you cry, they call you a whiner. They politically torture you, but don't talk about it. It makes you look bad. Not only are Democrats decent, but they work harder than Republicans.
Kamala worked her way up to become Vice President of the United States of America. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth.
Kamala was not born into privilege. She had to work for what she's got. And she actually cares about what other people are going through.
Are they implying that Kamala Harris worked harder than Donald Trump? She didn't even work for this nomination. Biden asked her to help fix the border. She didn't lift a finger. Trump's campaign 10 times harder than Harris, who hides from the press in her plane. And he didn't inherit generational wealth. He created it. What's Kamala ever created besides word salads? And if you have money, Michelle says, you're a bad person.
My mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed.
Well, I'm a little suspicious of the Obamas for having 4 mansions. Michelle flew to Germany to get paid $750,000 for one speech. Isn't that taking a little more than she needs? I'm sure her daughters don't mind when they inherit the generational wealth. Does that make them bad people? No. The difference is Trump earned his money in the private sector, and the Obamas earned theirs from the public sector. But it doesn't matter because something's in the air.
Something wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it? Yeah. You know, we're feeling it here in this arena.
Excuse me, public service announcement. Folks, we're going to spray the lithium now. Here we go. We're going to vent. Yep, all ventilation is switching to lithium and Xanax. So we can deal with your anxiety of Trump. Yeah. All right. Give us a second. Folks, it doesn't work if you don't inhale.
Arena, but it's spreading all across this country we love. It's the contagious power of hope. The anticipation, the energy, the exhilaration of once again being on the cusp of a brighter day.
Joe Biden took that line personally. Politico reporting that it stung because Michelle lumped the Biden and Trump eras as one long gloomy period. Did Michelle forget that Kamala was VP during that gloomy period? Where's all this hope coming from? The first time she was proud of her country was when her husband was running for president. And now hope is back because Kamala's running. I hope Michelle's not saying she's only proud and hopeful for America when there's a black president. She would never say that. And hope means nothing without a plan. Hope isn't a policy. The Obamas ran on hope for 8 years. Nothing changed, so we got Trump. If Michelle says we have to bring back hope, we must have lost it under Biden and Harris. We're less wealthy, safe, and united, but Democrats have controlled the White House 12 out of the last 16 years. They want us to give them 4 more, and they promise they'll fix everything. But they won't tell us how or why they haven't already. Only that they're more virtuous people than we are.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. All right, we're getting up to the top now. I got a couple more to do, and I've got to stop this pretty soon because I'm going to be out of fuel. Not going to, can't have that. Robert Davey, I want to say a lot more to Michelle Barack, but here is a small taste.
This is messages to Michelle Obama, Barack Obama. Terrific speeches you gave at the DNC, very articulate, very poignant, and your oratory skills are bar none, tremendous. And so this has nothing to do with your oratory skills, but with the content of your speeches, which I found bereft of being truthfully and honest. You're propagandists. You're skilled at that. You're skilled propagandists that have been molded and inundated from the Marxist left philosophy, and they do that very good. The agitprop, propaganda agitation, and being able to communicate to the people your concern and your love for the people. But yet, let me ask you something, Michelle. You say that Trump shined you guys and put hate on you guys, and yet Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and who was it? Oprah, for many years, lifted Donald Trump up as a shining example of somebody from the NAACP, even getting that award. How do you qualify that? The guy all of a sudden changed his color, Michelle? No, you guys race bait. You could have fixed America during Ferguson. But yet the first black-white president failed America and failed his inner cities. And yet the plantation mentality is strong, and you're able to communicate that to the people. You communicate that plantation mentality, and that's what has happened. And many blacks see through it, and many don't. And many whites have been bamboozled by white guilt. It's astounding to me. I'm Italian American. They said the Italian was lower and dirtier than the Negro at certain times. And yet you have a Pelosi, you have who's bereft of real truth and honesty. And the only thing Trump was upset about was how you guys deal with America. And the other thing, Michelle, no, you didn't have a silver spoon. Neither did I. My dad worked 3 jobs. I got a scholarship. I went to college. You pull yourself up through hard work. America did that, Michelle. Not the Congo.
Yeah, not the Congo. Not the Congo. All right. I was talking about this veteran earlier, and here we go. Chicago, August 21st, DNC protester tries to steal an American flag from a black man at Union Park. Here we go.
We just want to show off. That's it.
Why did you do that?
This is not okay. You come here to make a problem, man. No, listen to this. Listen to this.
What you trying to achieve? Oh, I'm just asking you a question. I'm just reporting. I don't care. Don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm a reporter. Stop. I'm a reporter. Stop.
I'll just play. Hold this right here.
What just happened? Can you tell me what just happened right now?
You got people who hate this country. They want to sit back and call me a disgrace to my people and my race. Black and white people have fought very hard. Hispanic as well. Fought very hard for this nation. We're going to see orange flags raised in an American park. Our ancestors, black, white, they're turning in their graves.
they're turning their graves. No matter who you are, if you live in this nation, your grandparents are turning their graves because they fought very hard. They're nothing. It's nothing. I'm married. Pay me what? I'm by myself. I spent a lot of money getting here. I spent a lot of my hard-earned money. I spent the rest of the check that I got from separating the military to get here. Just want to show off. Every dime I got from leaving the military, I show off. That's it. Stop. Yeah, I show off. You just show off my nation. My nation. You get to show off yours. I can show off mine. Hey, America first. You get to show off yours. I get to show off mine. Yeah. This is my country. My country. Relax. We love you, brother. We love you. We love you, brother. We love you. We love you. We love you. Just relax. Yes. Follow that guy. Follow that guy. Excuse me. Quick question. Just as a reporter, what would have happened if somebody would have harmed you? Were you willing? I mean, I suppose you were because you grabbed the flag, but like, did it cross your mind that someone could have like seriously injured you in that act? No. Well, I mean, like, you didn't grab the flag, but she did. So I was just wondering, were you assuming people would help you if someone were to attack you?
I mean, if someone did, I would beat the shit out of them.
Okay. Yeah. So fully understanding the consequence. Yeah. I'm just asking. Just trying to be objective.
We had no muscle tone. It would not have been a hard fight. I'm just saying.
Fair. Thank you. I appreciate your comment. Thank you. Yep. This is my country. I'll fly what flag I want. Yep. All right. Let's see why fools are voting for Kamala.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala.
Why is that?
I think it's obvious. That's all I have to say.
Oh, absolutely Trump. All day, every day.
Why is that?
Because he's for America. He always has been for America. You go back to his interviews from the 80s. He's always loved America. I don't give a rat's ass about Kamala.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala.
Why is that?
I can't begin to tell you. Every reason.
Just like one?
Yeah, democracy.
I would vote Trump.
The economy was better than Trump.
100%.
Kamala.
Why is that?
I think her rhetoric is empathetic.
Kamala.
Why?
Because she'll make sure that democracy endures in this country, and Trump will destroy democracy in this country.
What is your favorite thing that she's done so far in office?
She's brought joy back to this country.
Okay.
I'm thinking that I'm going to have to go with Trump, how the world is working, the reality of inflation in comparison to the increase of the people being paid out. And it's really started to strike me.
Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
Why is that?
Because I'm in the housing industry and I'm from Texas. When he was in office, we were just blowing and going and work. And since, the last 3.5 years, we see it diminishing now.
Kamala.
Why is that?
I don't know, maybe because her progressist his ideas, something like that, but I'm not really sure.
Kanye.
I knew.
Oh, so everybody who's voting for Kamala couldn't come up with a real reason. Yeah. All right. Tonight's DNC keynote speaker. This is what he looks like. Yeah. Let's open that image in a new tab. Yeah, that's who's speaking tonight. Planned Parenthood. Wow. This world is getting more crazy. President Trump called out Kamala Harris for her hypocrisy on the child tax credit. Kamala is suddenly talking about increasing the child tax credit when I was in office with the help of my daughter, Ivanka, and Senators Tim Scott and Marco Rubio. I doubled the child tax credit, which brought tax relief to 39 million middle-class families. Kamala voted against this bill in 2017, and in 2021, Democrats let this tax cut expire. Yeah. Just saying. All right. Breaking info on the super yacht disaster. Here we go.
Very quickly, my friends, I just want to say this video is all speculation. We're just using our brains here and thinking out loud. Thank you all. Welcome back. I have an insane video to show you with some information that's going to blow your mind about this super yacht that sank, taking the life of Mike Lynch, his daughter, among many other people that were on this boat due to a freak weather event like a water spout. The only problem, all the data is missing. Now, this immediately had people up in the air like, how could this possibly happen? How could a super yacht be taken out by a random water spout? And this area right here is where the boat sank, near Palermo. You can see it right down in this area is where all the information tells us this boat sank due to a crazy freak weather event. Now, before I get into what I found, we need to look at the tweet I put out back on May 19th when the Iranian president died in a helicopter crash because of a freak weather event. My video showed this. On the major weather sites, they had removed that day of data where you would see the weather going on in that area where the helicopter crashed. I got a community note after 2 million views. It then went on to get another 700,000 views, but they community noted me a day and a half after this event where Zoom Earth updated their weather. So at first it was not on Zoom Earth. So community notes went in and found it 2 days later after they changed it and then gave me the note. So they 100% removed data for that day so we could not see what was going on. Again, that was the Iranian president. Now take a look at this, my friends. We are zoomed into the exact area where this yacht sank due to a potential freak weather event. Now, as we move through the 17th, watch the date up here. They completely skipped an entire day of data, just like they did with the Iranian helicopter crash that killed the president. Look at this. They skip all the way to 14 UTC on the 19th. That was after the boat sank. And if you backtrack one frame, it skips all the way back to 8/17. You cannot see the weather that was going on and change these tabs to see different data points and things like that that could have been going on as far as weather manipulation because there is no data to do so. This is unbelievable. Now, to prove I'm not making this up, here is Zoom Earth, the proof the community notes used on me last time. Guess what's going on with this? The same exact thing. Take a look at this. We're set for August 18th. 10:45 p.m. So it's technically dark in this area. We can zoom out and you can see the sunlight is going to move into the area. But then as we get to the dates we need to see, it's going to skip it again. Here we go. Watch this. 11, 12. You can see this line moving across the screen. So we're getting these frames. It's still dark. 1:45 a.m. 2:45 a.m. Here's the first frame of daylight we see for this area right here. Now watch. 3:45 a.m. Here we go. 4. Stuck frame will not move. 5, stuck frame will not move. 6, same thing. 7, same exact thing. 8 is when we get the first frame to move, which is after the yacht sank. So once again, even on Zoom Earth, we cannot see the data points they are giving us because it's all frozen. You can see the day before, all of the 18th leading into the 19th. It freezes right here for about 6 hours, which is 6 frames. And then we get to see movement after the fact. Not to mention, Zoom Earth does not have the same abilities that this website does with all these different settings down here. So when community notes came and said that the data was on Zoom Earth, that may have been true, but the ability to check that data in different formats was not available. All you get was this blurry cloud layer, which would have shown nothing. In much of the information we get about this whole situation, it's all snapshots. You can see here they're showing a heavy group of lightning in this area. Again, they're calling this a freak storm that came out of nowhere, basically, and took out one boat that was in a group of a bunch of boats. It wasn't just Mike Lynch in this area with the people on his boat, including his daughter. There were a bunch of boats, and he was the only one to go down. My friends, when they are hiding data, specifically weather data, it means they do not want you to see what's going on in those areas. I'm telling you, this exact same thing happened with the Iranian president when I made this video, which I'll link with this one, talking about how they removed all that data for an entire day before then replacing it with some basic screenshots that show us nothing. There is absolutely something going on here. 2.7 million views with the Iranian president shows that people are very interested in stuff like this. Anytime I bring up weather modification, I get a lot of heat for it, but I don't care. I know what's going on, and I know a lot of people understand this as well, but you got to think about this story. This guy and this co-defendant, Stephen Chamberlain, had just won their second major battle on the same case. They had to fight it in their home countries, and then they were extradited to the U.S. to do the same thing, and they won the case. Shortly after, this man was run over and killed, and then right after that, we have this incident with the super yacht and Mike Lynch. And now I can see one of two theories here being true. One is that this man faked his death and left with his daughter, or, as crazy as it might sound, he may have been attacked by weather. And if that sounds crazy to you, please do some research on the topic. It's very possible. It's been being done since Vietnam, probably before. My friends, within the next 24 hours, they will probably replace all this frozen data. It's 6 hours of frozen data from 8:45 all the way down to 2 is frozen frames. You cannot see anything, which is the most important time for this situation. And then once you get past that time, you can see everything going on after that. So they came in here and cherry-picked those frames to remove, but they will replace them with their own data once the day goes by. All right, my friends, yes, this is some crazy information. Do with it what you will, and please leave me your thoughts down below. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Together some great
Stop
content
right there, my friends.
Yeah.
If you have
Elon Musk says propaganda isn't about creating fake news. It's also about hiding real news. Very, very, very true. Very true. All right. Here we go. This is happening in Oregon, and I'm really kind of ticked off about this. But here we go.
A taxpayer-funded group is offering $30,000 to new home buyers. Lauren, you cannot apply if you're an American citizen. What's with that?
Why would an American citizen apply for a taxpayer-funded program to get $30,000 for a new home? I mean, it's wild. The group is called Hacienda Community Development Corporation. They offer payment assistance in Oregon to DACA recipients, asylees, green card holders, basically any non-U.S. citizen. This is state-sponsored discrimination, Stuart. That's what it is. I mean, it's crazy. That's their goal. They want to open up housing and the American dream to non-U.S. citizens.
Okay, I guess
There's
that's
a
the reason why. That's why we have an open border, because eventually these folks will vote and vote Democrat because they're the people who let them in. That's what this is about.
Part of me wants to say crazy things happen in Oregon, but I think this will go far beyond Oregon. There is a critical shortage of houses across the United States, particularly in Oregon. And then they're giving $30K to non-taxpayers.
Yeah, which will raise the price of houses.
For everybody
Yes.
else.
Pathetic. All right, Lauren, thank you very much indeed.
Yep. Going on right here. Going on right here. So just
A person who is a threat to our democracy of the kind that we have not seen. At the beginning of our country, Thomas Paine said that times have found us.
5, 6,
Declare war,
8,
establish a new nation. Abraham Lincoln took up that charge to keep our country together years later, decades later. And now the times have found us to save our democracy. That is what we are. A person who is a threat to our democracy of the kind that we have not seen. At the beginning of our country, Thomas Paine said that times have found us.
5, 6,
Declare war, establish a new nation. Abraham Lincoln took up that charge to keep our country together years later, decades later. And now the times have found us to save our democracy. That is what we are. A person who is a threat to our democracy of the kind that we have not seen. At the beginning of our country, Thomas Paine said that times have found us.
yeah. So basically, she's calling for the another assassination on Donald Trump. Yep. All right, here we go.
You want to know why there were 800,000 fewer jobs created? It's because of tax burdens, and she only wants to make them worse.
Donald Trump was the only president that I can remember who actually raised the income of the lowest 20 percentile and moved it up relative to everybody else. He closed the gap. Nobody else has done that. Nobody.
Yep. Nobody's closed that gap. Nobody. Kids are getting tired of being gaslit. Mm-hmm.
Watching the DNC has showed me that the only thing that the Democrats can do is lie, push propaganda, and fearmonger Black people into falling in line and voting for them. There was a time when Black people walked down the streets in fear of their lives, fear of being lynched and nothing happening. We're not living in those days anymore, but they are mentally enslaving Black voters. I still see commercials for Project 2025. They are still paying for ads for something that has already been shown not to be a part of Trump or MAGA Republicans. They are counting on you not to do your research. They are counting on you to only listen to what they say. Sounds a whole lot like North Korea and propaganda. Do not fall for it. When you go to the bank, when you go to the grocery store, you know you're hurting. Vote accordingly.
Yep. People are seeing it. They are seeing it. Yep. Okay, this is going on in Texas.
This is the consideration of authorizing the Texas Transportation Finance Corporation to take responsibility for the State Highway 288 toll lane.
It's authorization for the Texas Transportation Finance Corporation to act on behalf of the Commission with respect to the acquisition, financing, operation, and maintenance of the State Highway 288 toll lanes in Harris County.
Commissioners, are there any remarks or questions for Section Director Morata? Okay, hearing none, and we have no comment cards. I'll ask for a motion to authorize the Texas Transportation Finance Corporation to take responsibility for the State Highway 288 toll lanes project, authorizing the department to provide a loan to the corporation for the payment of project costs and delegating authority to commission representatives to adopt an official intent to reimburse costs of the project with bond proceeds.
I move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Alvis. May I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Meade. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
This is the
It's kind of crazy that people can't even afford groceries, and you want to put a toll road in. Yep. JD Vance.
And we're here, of course, not far from where Laken Riley was born and raised. A beautiful, beautiful young girl who would still be alive today if Kamala Harris had done her job and not let these drug cartels come into our community. And I'm proud, and I know President Trump is proud, to have been endorsed by local law enforcement here in Georgia, but we also got some good endorsements in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Law enforcement knows that Donald J. Trump is the law and order candidate in this election, and you all have an incredible power to get out the vote, to drive people to the polls and make sure he actually becomes the next president of the United States. So thank you all for everything that you're doing. And we're here, of course, not far from where Laken Riley was born and raised. A beautiful, beautiful.
Yep. That poor girl. I can only imagine what her family's going through. Yeah. All right, coming up on the last ones. Here we go.
Are you spending? What brings you
way
here?
over time?
And I'm sure. Are you spending your own resources
for today.
Yeah. Not really. Not really. You're not. You're not spending your own resources. But why are you here?
To support, you know what I'm saying, a cause that's, you know what I'm saying, for greater than any of us can imagine.
What is that cause?
The Palestinian cause. It's a genocide happening, and I can't just sit by and watch it happen without me supporting my brothers and sisters in Palestine.
What about the issues right here in Chicago in your backyard?
I'm from America, but not Chicago.
But you care about what happens here, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of?
Yeah.
What is, define kind of?
I mean, I don't really live here, so.
But you don't live in Israel.
But in Cleveland, it's like,
but
it's
you
bad
don't live in
too.
Israel.
I know, but they're Muslim brothers and sisters, and I'm Muslim, so.
So you have a different solidarity to your Muslim brothers than your black brothers who kill each other here in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
Okay.
I choose faith over like anything else, so that comes first.
Yeah. Okay. thank you for talking to us.
Yeah. No
All
problem.
right. Thank you.
Yeah. Just saying. Just saying. And this will be the last one. Megyn Kelly.
Which is enough money, according to the Obamas. 70 million? Because public reports estimate that that is their net worth, parlayed on the back of Barack Obama's 14 years of holding political office. He did not spend 50 years in government service. He did a stint in the Illinois State Senate. He did a couple years in the U.S. Senate before he ran for office and won. All right. Then he did 2 terms as president. And off of that, he's made himself over $100 million, almost $100 million, probably over, to be honest. We don't know all of the earnings. The Obamas reportedly own 4 luxury properties. A home in Martha's Vineyard, estimated to be worth some $20 million, in addition to properties in Washington, D.C., reportedly bought for $8.1 million, a beachfront home in Hawaii, reportedly bought for $8.7 million, and a home bought in Chicago for $1 is enough money.
Yep. How much is enough money? How much is enough money? We have to ask ourselves that, right? All right, guys. I got to go. I got to go. Remember our Creator. He loves you. His Son, he loves you. And I love you. And I'll be back in a day or two, depending on when I get gas. All right. Peace.